Hello, guys! It's me, Bunny Rabbit Lives, and today I will be chatting with y'all and just chatting, until I'm like, not no more, you know what I mean? But yes, I have set up chat. Guys, I found the coolest hobby shop ever, okay? And I bought like 5 plushies. I have an issue, okay? I went shopping with my mom and I bought us some stuff. I bought like this really good perfume. Honestly, I love it so much. I'm about to show y'all what it is. Like I'm gonna tell y'all what it is because I like it. But yeah, I don't remember what it's like, what the brand is, so I have to go get it. But it's so good, and it's like a dupe of she, I don't remember something Rogue 540 or something like that. It's so good. Like when I was at work, I had to stop the lady because she smelled so good. And so now I have a dupe and it's really good. So yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all about it. But hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right. So the perfume that I got that is it tells you right here what it's a dupe for, but the perfume is called Declassified Crystal Rogue. And it says it compares to MFK's Bec- Baccarat Rogue 540. And it is so good. I swear. I like it was only 12.99 and it lasted a good amount. It lasted like I'm gonna say I put it on like at 3 and it is 8 now. I can still smell it. Not as strong, but you know what? It's pretty good. I like it. So, honestly, I think this might be my favorite perfume now. Like my full like favorite perfume besides the fresh apple DYKN whatever it is, but Be Delicious or whatever, the green apple one smells so clean, so nice. And so yeah, guys, Declassified Crystal Rogue, very good perfume. And I don't know much about men fragrances, but I would love to learn because I love smells and I love when people smell good. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna collect these. Well, I want to collect them, but I don't make enough. But yes, guys, don't forget this is really good perfume. It was only 12.99. 12.99, and I got it at Burlington. So if y'all have Burlingtons, it's really good. Hello, Ava. How are you doing? Are you doing good? Hopefully you are. What are y'all's favorite perfumes? Like, our favorite smells? Because I know I like woody scents. Yes, tomorrow is my exam. Oh, well, I hope you studied. But if you didn't and you still passed, that'd be really cool. Oh, wait. I forgot to tell y'all about the new shop I went to. Okay, so the new shop I went to is like a hobby shop. So they have D&D, Magic, The Gathering, Riftbound. They have all this stuff. But they had plushies. They had Palm Pals. So what is your exam about? Yeah, right? Like, wait, actually, do y'all know what Palm Pals are? They're like little plushies. They're really cute. I love collecting little cute things. Oh my god. I found the coolest little plushie ever, guys. The plushie is literally a bee bear. It's a bee and it's a bear all at once. You like collecting plushies too? Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this right now. What's your favorite plushie and why? Or like, is there like, name your top three favorite plushies and why? I'll tell you mine after. Cause I really do love stuffies, guys. A bear? The name of the bear? What is its name and what does it look like? Cause so for me, mine is also a bear. But my favorite bear one, you're cute and cute little ears. Thank you so much, Anna. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, Clifton, how are you doing? Okay, I have a question for you, Clifton. Do you collect plushies? And what's your favorite top three and why? I like so guys, I am of age, okay, but I still collect plushies, okay? It's fine. It's fine. No, it's okay. I'm just like, getting into the deepness of it cuz I do have a favorite bear and its name is Teddy. Do you like Cat's Eye? Yeah, some of their songs. How was your Mother's Day? You did anything special with her? Yes, actually, I was talking about that before you came in. Oh, thank you so much, Eva, for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Um, so I went shopping with my mom and I bought her shirts and pants and stuff. And then I also got myself some shirts and some shorts and like, some jeans, some cargo pants, and like I also bought this really good perfume. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. I bought this Yunche is my bias. Oh wow. Wait, Ava, who else do you like in terms of K-pop? Did you went to dinner or lunch? I wasn't able to go to dinner or lunch because I spent a lot of money on my mom for her special day as well as on myself. All right, Ava, thank you so much for chatting. I really appreciate it. And then what's it called? Oh yeah, my top favorite plushies, a bear named Teddy that I got when I was in third grade. No, 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 it wasn't even third. It was kinder. And I was really happy when I got him. And I'm super protective of him. Oh, you bought your mom flowers? That's so sweet. Yeah, my sister got my mom flowers and a tiny cake, and then my other sister bought her skincare, and I bought her clothes that she liked. And then I asked her if she wanted a perfume, and she was like, no. But I was like, "Oh, girl, I'll get you one next time. Just because I love my mom. But I was telling y'all about this perfume that I bought. It's a MFK's Bureaucrat Rogue dupe. It's the 541, and it's called Crystal Rogue from Declassified, and it's so close and it's so good. It lasted like 4 hours. Simon got her a teddy bear, a pearl necklace, and box of chocolates. Wow, Clifton, that's really nice. Yeah, guys, like, how was y'all's, like, wait, did you know they are YouTube plushies? I did not know that. I did not know they had those plushies. But I got more favorites. I got, so for example, I have this two-headed teddy bear that's a squishable. I love the unique ones. This little green mint colored squishmallow with a fluffy belly. It's a bunny. And now I also got a two pound palm pals, and I love the little spaniel one. But I got my mom some clothes and stuff. It was really nice. I wanted to watch a movie with her too, but we spent a lot of money. But yeah. Did y'all like enjoy your day? I definitely enjoyed mine. The drive around wasn't the best because, I live in a place where driving is crazy. I've actually had stuff thrown at my car before. while driving. But I'm safe. I'm good. Um, and so the drive was crazy, but I had a lot of fun with my mom. Like, y'all want to hear a funny story? Okay. So I was trying on a skirt. Wait, I brought my mom flowers and I bought her a phone. You bought her a phone? Wow. Actually, I'm saving to buy my mom a phone as well. A new one, at least. So yeah, hopefully, in a little bit, I'm able to buy her one because I really miss chatting with her. Her phone broke and she hasn't been able to get a new one. So I'm gonna get her one soon. But I mean, she doesn't know how to like touch buttons because she's getting on the older side. But yeah. Hello, PX. Long time no see. How are you doing? Nice to see you again. How was your Mother's Day? Guys, don't forget to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Fine, I got exams. Oh, did you do anything nice? Like anything fun for yourself? Life is not all just exams. Life is also, having fun. Am I the only one that says wait every single second? No, you're not. You're not. I say wait a lot too. Like if something is happening really fast or unexpected, I'll be like, "Oh, oh, wait. Wait." You know? Or like I'll be like, "Oh, wait, let me see. Let me see." You know, it used to be a catchphrase I would use a lot. Like if you look back at my gaming streams, I just haven't been able to game a lot because of this job that I have, but I used to do a lot of gaming streams, guys. A lot of them. How are you lately? I'm doing good. I still have my cold sore, but now it's definitely healing better now that I stopped uh, ripping it off. But it's okay. It's okay. Um Now I just have to wait for it to like heal and stuff. And I'm doing great actually. I found a new place to go to and now we have space to finish these puzzles at. And also like we're about to finish a book that I'm gonna read for y'all. So we're gonna start a new one and I'm super excited. And also I'm looking for a new job and there's a lot going on, but everything's good. Wait, I do not know what that means. What does that mean? I know hi, but I don't know what that tal toll means. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna read the full thing because I don't know what it means. I know you're trying to trick me. You're trying to trick me. Eh. Wait, can see? Look, I said wait already. You said wait? Where'd you say wait? Oh wait, did you know they are? I did. Yeah, I read it. I did not know. I did not know they had plushies of them. I like their music. I just I'm not very centered in the lives of the artists anymore. I do not know what that means, Day. I will not. I will not. Thank you, Linfin. Oh, it's a Turkish name. Okay. Okay, so if that's the case, I will say it. Okay. Hi, Talha Tosun. Did I say it right? Oh, thank you, Lynn. Thank you. Yes. Manon is it's on hiatus. Wait, Manon is on hiatus? I thought see, I don't know much about their lives, but I have been getting stuff about them on TikTok and they say that she's not on hiatus. Like they don't know if she's on hiatus or if she's like getting you know, kicked out of the group. So I don't really know what's going on with that. Talha is an Arabic name. Okay. There you go. I said hello. He's Arabic, my friend. All right, Day. I did it. I said it for you. Did you finish that Thomas and Andrew novel? No, I'm about to finish it. I'm gonna finish that one today or try to. Cause my throat does get tired, so I might take more frequent water breaks. But I am about to finish it, and after that we will be reading Behoved. Because I don't know if I told y'all, but I was doing an interview and they left me waiting there for the whole interview, so like they didn't show up. So I read the full first chapter of Behoved, and I'm like, yeah, I'm hooked. So we're gonna start that one next. Where are you from? Tunisia. Oh, what is Tunisia? Oh, what is the famous landmark in Tunisia? But yeah, oh wait, how is your Mother's Day? Where is that place? Oh, I know this one. Africa. Hey, right? Wait, no? Am I wrong again? Guys, yo, am I proving I'm bad at geography again? Oh yeah, Danny Dad kicked out Manon from Cat's Eye, and now she is better and she's on live stream. Oh, that's great. It looks like Manon's doing way better now that she has left the group. Oh, okay, I'm right this time. Oh wait, I was telling y'all the story. So I was clothes shopping with my mom today, and I put on a skirt wrong, and it had shorts, right, but I put it on wrong. So it looked odd, right? And I'm like, wait, why does it look like that? And we started laughing, right? Because we were saying like some inappropriate stuff, right? But we started laughing, and I was just like, wait, that's the short. I put it on wrong. It was so funny. I can't really go into detail on here. It'd be, it'd be a little odd. But y'all can put two and two together. Do I still play Genshin? No, I do not. I'm actually really bad at it. Like, if you look at the shorts that I made playing Genshin, I was constantly falling, constantly dying, stuff like that. Even like, even when I played with friends, they'd be like, hey, you need this. And I'd be like, oh no. Wait, you think I speak every language? Oh no. Oh no. I only speak Spanish and English fluently. I just know a little bit of everything in terms of vocabulary. Yup, the basics. What's wrong? No, PX, don't listen. Don't get out of here. Nah, nah. I was a free to play Songly main. So does that mean you're not free to play anymore? I used to be free to play too, but oh, I forgot to mention. I got back into Infinity Nikki. So after my road trip from work, I started playing Infinity Nikki again, and I miss so much. But the new banners, like the new outfits, I really like the bug catching one. It's really pretty. No, not you at high school. That where I am. Oh, okay, okay, Anna. I was like, wait, not me, not me. Mm-mm. I mean, I can say like if y'all like put it on, like I could try to say it, but that like I just know Salamat pagi. You know what I mean? Which I think means good morning in Indonesian. I think. I think. Because I forget a lot. But also like I had some of like um Philippine Tagalog, but not no more because I don't talk to a lot of Philippine people anymore. I remember something. Um, I know a little bit of Italian, a little bit of Latin. You know what I mean? But basic stuff here and there because most languages derive from Latin. Very fun. I like languages. Actually, I wanted to make my own at some point, but I was like, I work too much to have the time to do it. I know, like, people. Wait, what? Why don't you make reaction videos, like anime reactions, stuff like that? It's good for the channel. Oh, it's just that if you got 10 likes, I will do face thing. Oh, I would not. I would no face reveal, okay? Um, but the reaction stuff, like reacting to anime and stuff like that, the only reason why I don't do it is because if I try to stream on here as well as stream on YouTube, it will mute me. Um so here I could try, but it will mute me. Okay, so let me see. Hello stream. Oh god. Can y'all hear me? Jesus. Okay, can y'all hear me now? Okay, yeah. See, so I can't react to things because then y'all would not be able to hear me. On the other hand, um, if I did react to it, no, I'm not. I'm streaming on my phone. So my laptop broke, back in like 2020 or 2024. I used to use it, but only for like applying to work and stuff. It was a very weak laptop. Almost like less than a potato, okay? A little purple HP laptop. And then what's it called? Um I had bigger ones before, but I didn't know about streaming back then. So I didn't use it to stream. I used it to play games like TeeNearMe.com or Neopets.com, which is now shut down. Or Pepe Park. Oh my god, I miss those games. I never got to like pay for them. Hey, a fake person, how are you? Meanwhile, with my Hello Kitty plush, I actually used to have Hello Kitty plushies, but then I went crazy for a little bit, and I had to like give them to my sisters. But yeah, how was your Mother's Day, a fake person? I'm actually streaming on my phone. And then not only that, I used to stream on my PlayStation 5 as well, but I don't have enough time to like play games anymore. And then like and on Sundays I possibly could, right? But I only get one day to stream for y'all. So I was like I might as well make it like a just chatting or like live reading so that it's worth it, you know what I mean? Because I like to do my stuff for like hours. So like when I start something, I like to like stay as long as possible and finish as much as possible before I move on to a next thing or something like that. Good, I hung out with my pops, then I went pretty late to go out with my mom. Oh, how did y'all have fun today? I enjoyed a shopping getaway with my mom. And I found a dupe for my favorite perfume. I actually stopped somebody on the road. Like their friend was like, "No, no." And then I still stopped them. I was like, "Lady, I'm so sorry. I had to stop you. Your perfume smells amazing." Today's not a good day for you? Why is that? I'm sure it'll get better. I can only go up from here, right? Wait, I know, but please put on touch from Cat's Eye. I cannot. Sadly, I don't have, oh, your favorite soccer club lost? Oh, that sucks. Honestly, when you're rooting for someone so much that and they still lose, that feels kind of like, yeah, I get you. Oh, everybody's out here losing. Sorry. Oh, you know what? Don't let it bring you down. You got this. Just think positive. You know what? It's a learning lesson for them, you know? They'll win next time. I'm sure, right? I mean, the only thing you can do is hope. I cannot put on Touched by Cat's Eye, sadly, Anna, because if I do that, I'll have to turn this off and y'all will not see my face. Y'all will see like some random screen. But also, like, if I did it on the other phone, then y'all would also hear my voice and I would not be able to see y'all's chats or what y'all are saying. Oh, I did not end the stream. I see, so I try to stream off of this application that I have. It's called Reality. It's on my phone and it's a basically like a VTubing streaming service app. But I don't use it to stream on there. I use it to like have a character so I can stream for y'all here on YouTube. So yeah. I did not end it. Guys, I'm right here. I'm chatting over here talking full volume. But it's okay, PX. You're fine. You got this. Just dust off the loss. Honestly, I feel like putting that perfume on again. The new one I got. It's pretty cheap too. It was only $12.99, guys. Actually, do y'all like perfumes as much as I do? Or colognes? What's a really good cologne? Y'all know about them? Cause I don't. Or yeah, what are y'all's favorite like scents? I really like woodsy scents. Fruity woodsy scents. They're really good. But yeah, and then I like citrusy stuff too. Chanel? So like which one? Cause there's a ton of Chanel's out there. A fake person, I use Paradise Garden or Creed Aventus. Oh, actually, do y'all know like okay, could y'all describe what that smells like? Because I feel like a lot of stuff I don't like powdery stuff. So I don't like powdery floral stuff. But I like fruity stuff. And some floral like tuberose. Yeah, talking about some, are you sure you want to end your stream? Like, what the heck? No, I don't. I don't want to end. Actually, I'm gonna be sticking around until after I finish the book a little bit. Because I'm gonna chat with y'all until 9 and then I'll finish the book for y'all. I don't know what's the best smell for girls. I know for men. Yeah, so what men fragrance from Chanel do you use? Creed Aventura is a floral woody. I love woody, so I might actually like it. Because some floral stuff is good. Paradise smells tropical. I like tropical stuff. Because did y'all ever have that Victoria Secret scent? The Lush Palm? No, not Lush Palm. Yeah, no, actually, it was Lush Palm. It smelled like a Mexican mango candy. Literally. I was like, no, because I bought two and they all finished. Creed Aventura is really expensive. Aventus is really expensive. How much did you get it for? Is there a dupe? Can you touch the bear? I cannot touch the bear. It is for decoration, but I can't stand next to it. Actually, let me try and pat it. Um, let me see if I can. Mm, maybe doing this. There you go. I touched it. I touched the bear. Just for you. 520 USD. Girl, that's. Are you rich? No. I didn't buy the original for this perfume because it was literally 130. Yeah, I punched it. Something something. Blue Chanel all the time. Does Blue Chanel smell kind of like water or icy? Like dewy and stuff? I kind of like watery scents or laundry scents for men. I wouldn't say rich, but yeah, like that's 520 I would spend on like a console. A perfume, I'm like, you know what? I'll get the dupe. Cause this one, like I said, it was only $12.99, but I think MFK's Bureaucrat Rogue 540 is actually like 100 something, 130. But like the Bureaucrat 900 something, 99 whatever. Uh that one, that one's like 400. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't. Dang, just dropped my phone under my bed. Oh no. Don't miss the stream now. Hello, yo mama. How are you doing? Are you doing good? Do you have any other colognes, PX? Cause I have more perfumes. I got this like Oi Moi $5 one off of Five Below, and it's actually really good. Look out for that bed monster. Yup, your mama is right. Yeah, watch out now. What about you, yo mama? What's your favorite cologne at the moment? Cause so for men, what I've smelled so far, I like Prada. Like when they wear Prada, it's really good. I don't know if cause Prada has oh Versace too. Yeah, I heard a lot of guys wear Versace, and I'm like, yeah, mm-hmm. That smells really nice. You like Millions? And I've been wearing the Versace red and black. That probably smells really good. How would you describe it? I got ones that are natural, homemade, and it's really good. Oh, you use like oil, like you mix your scents with oil so that they last longer, or what do you mean by that? When I dictate, I was already wearing polo red. Also, so you wear polo red? I'm actually like, you know what? I need to look all of these up because for real, I was kind of thinking about getting one for my significant other. Emporio Armani also smells really good. It's a vanilla. Actually, yeah, I hear vanilla smells are really hard to like buy them blind and not like them. Cause vanilla is a really like likable scent for everybody. Is what I hear. But me, I'm not a very gourmand person. Like I really stick to like I said, more fruity or like woodsy scents. Maybe musky scents. I like musk a lot or patchouli. Oh, getting closer to 10 likes. Wear that face. Oh, Anna, no, no face reveal, please. In my home country, they buy big brands like Chanel, but also buy little homemade ones. Much, much cheaper. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. Like the cheaper ones are like so much better. Like sometimes they last like so this one, like I said, this one was really cheap and it lasted me like 4 to 5 hours on my body. But it wasn't homemade. It's like this off-brand brand. You know what I mean? But it is really good. It's really good. Actually, I think it's still on me right now. It's just really light now. So yeah, I put it on like a 3 something, 4 something, and it's lasted me this far. Now, me being 150 years old, when I wear polo red, when I cater those 30 and above always give me compliment. Even Taylor Swift told me I smell good. 30 and above? So I imagine like polo red is very liked by the older crowd. Hmm. I have never smelled polo red. I'll look it up. I'll deep dive into that because if y'all have any men fragrances that y'all like really like and y'all like actively wear and have been stopped before for them, let me know because like I said, looking for something. Nautical Voyage. Okay, so you know which one I found at Burlington? I found a nautical I think sky blue or sea blue. Is that one good? Because I heard that that one was kind of good at Burlington, but I'm not sure. I do not wear integrity no more because I had young women in their 20s tell me that I smell like their grandpa. I said that's no more for me. I wonder what a grandpa smells like. I've never like my grandpas never wore anything. Not me changes my color of my keyboard and acting cool. No, look, Anna, customization, being cool is not bad. Being cool is cool, okay? I was searching for a present for that boyfriend, haha. Oh yeah, so like I feel like I like giving gifts. I like to see people happy and smile. So I feel like giving gifts is the best way to get something like a smile or like a happy little feeling out of somebody, you know? Actually, it was inside a blue box. So I didn't get the actual bottle. I got the box. But this one, the one that I have, is shaped like a cylinder. But honestly, what I got my boyfriend today was Magic the Gathering cards and two plushies. Like I got him uh a little what are those called? The ones that wear the masks. What is it called? I'd have to ask him. But it was like a plushie wearing like a mask that you used to wear when people got sick back in the day. And also a Mamechi Tamagotchi plushie. Did it say did it just say Nautica blue? No, it said Nautica sky blue or something or sea blue or something like that. Not gonna lie, I can't talk but I can watch. That's fine, Anna. No worries. Really appreciate it. So, yeah, but I mean, I feel like this smell cuz the lady that wore it wasn't she was like older but not Oh my god. You know what I miss? I miss roll-on lip gloss. Me too. Yeah, you do too? Was it like pure blue? Like the color of it, like the box? The box was yeah, mostly blue. It was literally one shade of blue, entire box, and then like in the middle like a light blue shade. You like roll-on perfumes? Are you okay? So PX the roll-on ones, I feel like those are oils, not like um pure pure perfume. Unless they do make roll-on perfume, which I'm like that'd be so interesting to try on. Roll-on lip gloss was so good. Actually, I had an icy one. I had an icy roll-on lip gloss with glitter in it, And I miss it so much. I wish they still made it. I think the name was sea blue or sky blue, something like that. Missing Buak and wanted it so bad. Today I saw Habik, I think it's called, and it's by Latafa apparently, and that one smells kind of like pear. Yeah, it was Nautica, like nautical. Here, let me see if I can type it in the chat. Yeah, like it was blue. Oh, actually, I can use my other phone to Google it. Hold on. Nautical blue. So it might have been nautical blue or nautical. Let me see. Mm, yeah, actually, it was blue. I think. Yeah. You're right. It was blue. Is it good? Not me being loud and wrong. It's always me being loud and wrong, guys. Yeah, you were right. A fake person. It's just blue. It was a Nautica blue. What I found. I just thought it said blue apparently because I see blue because it looked sea blue or because it said it smelled like ocean water or something like that. But I've never smelled it before. Is it actually good? So when you said pure blue, I thought you meant like it actually said pure on there. Like ocean or fruity. They said it smelled like ocean. So when I googled about it, oh, can y'all see my chat? Am I still alive? We're gonna sneak in my mom's room in real life. Be back. All right. See you soon. Don't get in trouble now. Yeah. So like, is it ocean or fruity? It said ocean. It said it smelled like water and beach waves and stuff like that. But I don't know what that smells like because I've not been to the beach in like years. You know what I mean? So yeah. And also, I think that smells amazing if you put it on correct. Okay, so how would you put it on correct? So like with like oils or with like layering it with another perfume or cologne? With my fluffy shoes so I can sneak in there. I don't have any house shoes actually. I don't have pantuflas. Is that what it's called? How do you call it in English? Um Slippers. I don't have a pair of slippers. I just walk in socks. But not in other people's houses cuz I don't know how they, you know, live. Also like on the pulse points. Okay, so don't judge me, okay? But when I put on perfume and I really like it, I put it like on my hair, on my shoulders, on my wrists, and around my neck. Is Mexico safe now? See, I haven't been to Mexico in a long time, but I feel like every place has its safe and unsafe places. So I feel like Mexico in some places is really dangerous and in others are not. So I don't know if y'all know, but BTS came to Mexico recently, and even the Mexico president went to the BTS concert. So I found that really cool, interesting. And then they said they were gonna do it again next year, so I'm guessing they enjoyed they enjoyed the getting sold out, you know what I mean? Cause the whole like stadium, like the tickets in Mexico sold out. I'll buy. No, no, no buy. I just kidding. What do you mean, Anna? I've seen the news about El Muncho. El Muncho, who's that? I have not seen very many news about Mexico. I just get like slang and like funny jokes. I just heard about the Jalisco stuff. Like 1 or 2 months ago. I recommend putting a spray on your wrist, then spread to the other wrist, then on your neck and elbows. But it really just depends on the strength. Like sneak. El Mento. Sorry. El Mento. That sounds like they're trying to insult him. Cause like I used to have a cat and he was like kind of like not very smart, or like if he was really smart, he knew who to mess with. So we would call him Peñejo. So we wouldn't call him the bad word, you know what I mean? But he was cute. I loved him. I love the cat. No, I don't watch the news actually. No. I try to stay away from it. Oh. Oh, it's a cartel member. See, no, I don't watch the news. I try to stay away from it. Cause it like affects me like cause I get mad when I hear about like sad or like bad things happening. So I'm like, you know what? I'd rather be blissful about that stuff. Except like I do know a lot about like the environment side of the news because I'm very much like somebody who cares about the environment and the things going on with it. And I'm really upset with what's going on in the US at the moment. Because even though I am Mexican, I have lived here longer, but I am very proud to be Mexican. My eyeballs are throwing a party. Are you a Republican or Democratic? I'm none of the above because I can't really vote. I'm Are you in Mexico? I'm not. I'm in the United States. I am fixed. Um I'm here legally. I am not a citizen. I'm what's it called? A permanent resident is what they call it. You have to renew your residency every I think it's 5 or 6 years, maybe 10. And then I think the citizenship you have to renew every 10 to 20 years, I think. I could be wrong. I don't really know too much cuz I don't get it done too often. Yeah, I got my kisses chocolates. Yay! I'm happy to hear that. Like 21 Savage. What do you mean, PX? I love your hair. Wow, thank you so much, Suan. Really appreciate it. I was actually planning on getting a different hair soon. But I don't know. I don't know. I got to go, sorry, but it was nice to tune in. Thank you so much, a fake person. Thank you so much for stopping by. Stay hydrated. Please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. And have a great day or night. Bye bye. Goodbye, fake person. No problem. I always love having all of my originals stop by and chat. Hello, Zoo. Hey, yo. But yeah, guys, I I really don't watch too much of the news. I just like if you ask me if I'm a Republican or a Democrat, I can't really answer that because I can't really vote at all. Like I can't have an opinion. So you would like to get an American citizenship? I would not. Actually, I think I would like to travel around first. I would like to explore like every country, every continent, every city, every state, every single place. I wish I could explore and learn. And I kind of want to learn like a lot of languages too. Because I want to be able to communicate with everybody. I want to be able to like help people and also myself in any language. POV, that girl in the school that thinks a boy likes her because he looked at her. Anna, wait, what? You want to explore, but you know nothing about geography. That's crazy. You're not gonna let that go, are you? No. Oh no. It's permanent, guys. It's permanent now. Bunny is bad at geography. Mm-hmm. We know this now. Exploring with Google Maps, maybe. Actually, sometimes I even get lost with Google Maps. Like, I take the wrong turn or something. I'm very directionally not there. Okay? But I try my best, you know? I have my things that I'm good at. And geography is not one of them. But you know what? I like music and I like art. Like, I can't understand. You're literally good at languages, but that doesn't correlate to geography. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Languages and geography are two different things. One is about linguistics, and one is about the shapes of the earth and the continents and all that. Shifting plates, no, mountain formations. The last sip in the Pringles. um, I mean, language equal culture equal place. Yeah, yeah. I love I love learning about cultures too. Like when I was a kid, I used to love anime. And I used to love what else? I really like just languages. I would look up also like Native American stuff as well as like um African stuff as well as Mexican stuff as well as Italian, Greek, um everything. I would look up every single thing because just learning about languages and culture and like what makes people do what they do or the lives that they live and stuff like that and that current location where they're at, very interesting to me. You think Africa is a big jungle, right? No, I do not actually. I thought it was a big desert actually. You know what I thought was a big was monkeys and lions just like the no, no, PX. I would not think that. I thought it was actually a big desert with like or like a big savanna, like a lot of grass, just not like trees. I was imagining like yellow grass, lots of rocks. Lions, yes, but not like only that. Cause I know that y'all have like watering holes and stuff, and aren't like honey badgers from there? Girl, I buyed butter squishies and coming in one day. Haha. You like you know what? I used to like like the little gummy squishies, the little ones that you could like squeeze weird. But you know, it used to be all jungles millions of years ago. Really? That's really interesting. Oh, and so that means like all of the animals there must have adapted through the millions of years that went by. You know what? You want to know something interesting? cheetahs are actually the most bullied cats where they are at, because out of all the big cats, they are the smallest and weakest of the bunch. I do believe in the theory of evolution. I am also religious. I know that a lot of religious people don't believe in it, but I believe that it is. So the way I see it is that, so since God created everything, he also created the theory of evolution. Because without evolution, things would not be able to, you know, evolve and change and like adapt to their current surroundings. You know what I mean? So he made everything perfect, including the theory of evolution. So everything to the dot. So perfectly that even his creations adapt to whatever he has created at the time. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. Religion doesn't equal Darwin evolution. Oh, I mean, I don't know. That's what I think. We could think different, PX. Because, I mean, that's just the way I see it. I'm like, you know what? If God made monkeys and monkeys became human, God still made that. You know what I'm saying? At least that's the way I see it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Because, I mean, he must have created the systems that made everything evolve and change as well. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I mean, I'm just some random bunny girl on the internet. Do you know we have a lot in our genes with bananas and rats? Actually, I did not. That's really interesting. I might have to look into that because that sounds crazy. Am I the only one that remembers Roku City? Ah, maybe because what is Roku City? Maybe if you explain to me, I could remember. Because you might be the only one who remembers, yes. Goku City. Ah! Okay, so I used to watch it, and they used to scream forever in Dragon Ball Z. Forever. Sometimes it was just like a whole episode of just screaming at each other. It was crazy. Apparently, though, do you like Dragon Ball Z? I used to watch it a lot. I think like I forgot the names of the characters and everything, but I remember watching it when I was a kid. I still remember that green monster episode with a tail thing. Yeah, creepy. But I also watched Inuyasha when I was a kid because they used to have it on. I think it was like Cartoon Network. They used to play both Dragon Ball Z and Inuyasha, as well as Tokyo Mew Mew and what else? Card Captor Sakura. Mm, what else? I watched like a few episodes of Sailor Moon, but I never really got too into it. I preferred watching Dragon Ball Z and Inuyasha. What else? What else? Oh, Tokyo Mew Mew was great too. Oh yeah, yeah. I used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon as well. Yu-Gi-Oh was really cool. I thought I don't know their names anymore, but the guy with the spiky hair and he turned like he started like nice and cute like you know, and he like went boss level, and he was really cool. I had a crush on him low key when I was a kid. Yeah, yeah, Yugi. Yeah, I thought he was cool. I love Tom and Jerry so much. When I get bored, I would watch and it makes me die laughing. Yeah, I used to watch Tom and Jerry a lot. I also watched Courage the Cowardly Dog, or Kaiba. Kaiba, is he like the one with the brown hair that's really like cold-hearted? I was talking about Yugi, I think. Wait, which one is wait, is Yugi the little one, or is he like is Kaiba the other spiky-haired guy that looks cool? Okay, Yugi's the main character and Kaiba is who? Oh, I would also watch the Powerpuff Girls. Did you watch that with the red hair? Oh, Dexter's Laboratory. Oh, with the red hair. No, actually, I don't remember Kaiba. Oh, guys, it's 9. Oh my God, I have to finish this book for y'all. I was having so much fun chatting about this. I lost track of time. You like Dexter's sister? I thought she was a little crazy, but she was really pretty. But honestly, I do have to start reading for y'all because I did say that I was gonna read to y'all at 9. Yeah, Kim Possible. That was Disney though, not Cartoon Network. Oh, hey, Kingston, welcome back. You like his mom too? Wait, he had a mom? I don't remember the mom very well. But yeah, okay, guys, stop distracting me. Okay, so guys, now, Bunny, where's that chatting stream you promised us? I will give it to y'all after I read this to y'all. But also, I already gave it to y'all. It's called me just vocalizing, I think. That's a stream where I was just chatting. But also like on Monday, if I'm able to finish this book to y'all tonight, I will have a just chatting stream because I have a just chatting stream every time I finish a book. Mhm. So y'all will get another one. Yeah, actually yeah, you did. You did. You only came in like when it was like a few streams after I already started this book is when you arrived, blessed us with your presence. But yes, I promise y'all will get a just chatting stream after I finish this book. Now, I do have to warn y'all. Yeah, yeah. I do have to warn y'all. This book does contain blood, gore, um, eating disorders, self-harm. You have Goku presents. No, that's crazy. PX said, I have arrived. Ah! What was that word they say? Kame Kame. POV, you are sleepy but still want to scroll on YouTube, bro. No, I get it because sometimes that happens to me too. Sometimes I'm too sleepy to even do that. Sometimes I just knock out. But guys, y'all are distracting me. No. Um okay. Yes. Blood, gore, what else? Death. What else? Oh yeah. Self-harm, eating disorders, abuse, stuff like that. So, if y'all can't handle it or are not in the right mindset to deal with this stuff, I suggest y'all, you know, take that time for yourself and find something that's actually, like healthy and stuff. While also, um, if you're under 18, please ask your parents if you are okay to watch this stream, okay? Okay. All right, Anna. So if you're okay with having scary stuff, then that's fine. If not, I still recommend y'all take the time, okay? I know you're sure, PX. Come on now. I'm pretty sure she knows her age. you, me? Are you saying I'm scary? Grrr. Have y'all seen Bambi? Oh my god, I'm getting distracted again. Oh, now I want to tell y'all about the Bambi thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna say this one last thing, and then without voice acting, not gonna lie. Actually, I'm not very good, but I'll try my best. 18 and a half, so maybe 19. Okay, so that still works. Okay, so, whew. All right, guys. Bambi, they had this little thing where Bambi, Thumper, and Flower were all together trying to be scary, and they started like just blaying and like growling and stuff. But it was really cute. They weren't even scary, like, but it was really cute. You also watch Bambi, Bambi 2, to be exact. PX, that's crazy. Over here, interrogation time. Okay, I need to stop getting distracted. I need to finish this book for y'all, so y'all can get your just chatting stream that y'all want. Okay, so I will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 29. The doorknob didn't work, or maybe it was Andrew who was broken. He dropped his dorm key for the third time. Electricity bit at his skin, and he felt hyper aware of everything. His book bag digging into his shoulder, the skin over his ribs stretched so tight it hurt. Thomas hovering at his back. They hadn't had a chance to talk yet after Andrew's trip to the principal's office, since Thomas had been in detention for skipping assignments. But what was there to say? I'm leaving. You alone. Alone, alone. Andrew couldn't tell him. It was already late, dusk crawling across the sky while the forest stretched shadows right up to the school. Wickwood should have canceled the Halloween dance. Everyone should be behind locked doors tonight. Instead, the dorm thrummed with the chaotic laughter and shouts of boys getting ready for the party, ducking in and out of their dorms in tuxedos or ridiculous costumes. Just tell me what she said. Are you in trouble? Thomas snatched the key from Andrew and opened their door. Andrew stumbled in, book bag slipping from his shoulder and thumping to the floor. He wanted to dig fingernails into his skin and peel, but instead he checked his phone and found 3 missed calls from his father. He threw it on his cluttered desk. He couldn't leave Thomas alone with the monsters, with stories he couldn't write, with no way to end this because Andrew had never told him the truth of what monsters demanded. They couldn't be apart. Their lungs would be torn out from inside each other and they would suffocate. Andrew's voice sounded rusted. Bryce told the principal he saw me in the forest. What? He couldn't have. We could get expelled for. I know. Andrew slammed their door and Thomas leaped out of the way before it caught his fingers. He looked startled, but said nothing as Andrew stripped off his blazer and fell face first onto his bed. He needed to think, but his head throbbed and black spots kept nipping at the edge of his vision. Slowly, Thomas crept over and perched on the edge of the mattress. Andrew stuffed a pillow over his face. We have to tell someone about the monsters. If we say monsters are attacking the school, we'll sound insane. No one would believe us. Literally no one. He yanked the pillow off Andrew's face. You look really shaken up. Andrew rubbed at his eyes so desperately, achingly, tired it was all he could do not to tug Thomas to lie down next to him so they could survive Halloween like this, tangled in each other's arms like two licorice twists. I'm just tired, he said. Thomas leaned in suddenly, an arm planted on either side of Andrew, their faces close enough they could eat each other's words right out of their mouths. He ran a thumb over Andrew's bottom lip. Oh, what the... What the... And then traced down to the fluttering pulse in his neck. Someday, do you want to be kissed? Something wicked and wanting surged in Andrew's chest, but the guilt followed like a swift uppercut. For the way he'd treated Thomas yesterday. For how he'd won their fight and made sure everything would go his way. It wasn't fair, and he didn't know how to fix it. Want to give and want to take. Oh, what to give and what to take. But as he stared up at Thomas's face, all he could think of was kissing every one of those freckles. He nodded, his throat tight. Oh, I read that so bad. He nodded, his throat tight. Thomas's smile was crooked and full of tentative delight. He shoved off the bed, and Andrew felt robbed of his touch. Let's get dressed. I've still got my dad's suspenders around here somewhere. My tux hasn't fit for like 2 years now. Andrew felt too washed out to get up. He needed to slow down and focus on what he had to do before his dad arrived. Destroy the last of Thomas's drawings. That had to be the main priority. If the monsters wouldn't stop, that meant there had to be some art still left. After that, he needed to kiss Thomas. Somehow, somewhere. Find Dove and tell her everything. Absolutely everything. If she wanted to stay at Wickwood, she could. He wouldn't blame her for putting her senior year over him. Then Andrew had to stop the monsters, whatever it took. He would not leave Thomas alone with them. Thomas left for the showers, and Andrew took his sweet time hauling himself upright and rummaging through his wardrobe for his tux. He'd rather skip the dance, but they needed to look normal, not guilty, not unhinged, not like boys about to lose everything. The pounding of feet up and down the hall and the collision of voices that said that everyone else was overexcited for tonight. It took their minds off exams and all the creepy things that had been spilling from the school. But nothing guaranteed the monsters would stay away from the auditorium. Andrew and Thomas would need to be in the forest early to fight them back and spill enough blood to satisfy the monsters' appetites. It didn't matter whose blood, theirs or the monsters. Someone just had to suffer. Andrew unbuttoned his shirt. Then he stopped. His ribs had hurt so long he'd grown used to the way they pressed sharp against his skin. How he could fit his finger between the grooves. How he was starving and yet felt too full to fit anything in his mouth. But this was new. His stomach looked distended, skin stretched like rice paper. He spread a hand over his belly, fingers trembling, and he pushed. Tentative, careful. What the? He whispered. His skin didn't give. It was like pressing fingers to a tree trunk, smooth and unforgiving. Hard lines coiled under the skin and crisscrossed over his stomach, and his shaking fingers followed one line and then another, tracing all the way up to his hip. Vines, leaves, roots. He could see their unmistakable outlines, and this couldn't be. No. Instead of feeling the soft, forgiving skin of his stomach, he felt vines growing through his intestines. They shifted under his touch, still growing as they twisted and tightened around another organ. Horrible, hysterical panic rose up his throat, and he was going to be sick. He had to get it out. He had to slice his stomach open and get it out. Get it out. Get it out. Get it. Andrew sank to the floor, knees to his chest, hyperventilating as the room spun. He couldn't show Thomas, not yet. They had too much to finish tonight. He couldn't do this. He gripped his wardrobe door and concentrated on breathing, but he could feel the brains in his lungs, taste the blood in the back of his throat where thorns had pricked his tongue. The forest had been growing inside him for a long time. He just refused to think about it. The door swung open and Thomas ambled in with wet hair and a towel slung over his shoulders. He looked roguish, in suspenders and white shirt with collar popped. His dress trousers cuffed to hide the fact that they were too short. Thomas stopped, still drying his wet hair. "Are you okay?" Andrew dragged on an undershirt fast. "Yep, you go ahead. I need to find Lana and ask her something." He knew Thomas wouldn't offer to come if it was to do with Lana. Thomas frowned, but he only said, "Meet me in the auditorium." First, Andrew needed to search the art classroom. Then he needed to find a sharp knife. It only took a press of fingertips to wood, and the library door swung open. Normally, the lights stayed on until 8 p.m. for independent study, but tonight everyone was up at the main school for the dance. The library should be locked, but Andrew stepped inside, and the darkness greeted him, inky and black and forever. He felt his way upstairs, cursing his lack of flashlight. He could barely see his feet, and it made him agonizingly aware of everything else. The utter silence, the fresh dampness of the air, like the forest after rainfall. How the carpet felt like moss. Inside him, vines stretched. Upstairs, he put his hand to the wall and felt his way to the end. The art classroom would definitely be locked, but he was desperate enough to try kicking the door in if he had to. Add property damage to his list of sins. It was too late for remorse, but the door gave at his touch. Something broke and fell from the knob as he pushed, and he frowned. Rope? It wasn't until the door stuck and wouldn't open wider, and he had to squeeze through the gap, that he understood what had been tangled in the lock. Vivid green vines. He hit the light switch. One bulb lit up in the center of the room and flickered a melancholy dance that barely cut the gloom. He recoiled, his back hitting the wall as the urge to cry out rose up his throat. The forest was here. It was impossible. It broke his whole mind. But inside the room grew a wonderland of trees and vines and lush greenery. Vines crawled over the windows and fungi flourished over the desks. Tree trunks shot from carpet to ceiling, their branches cramped around light fixtures to cornices. Delicate violets bloomed along the floor and vicious rose bushes sprouted through Miss Poppy's desk. It couldn't be real. He reached out and the soft, furred edges of leaves brushed his palm. They leaned toward him as if hungry for his touch. He had to get the drawings and run like hell. How the school would explain this away, he had no idea. But they couldn't pin it on Thomas, even though, for once, this was actually his fault. He must have lied and hadn't stopped drawing at all. That was the only explanation for why the monsters wouldn't stop. Except there was never ink on Thomas's fingers, never pencil lead smudged on his hand, never paint tracking over his mouth because he'd bitten his paintbrush while concentrating. Andrew crept through the classroom forest. He tried not to touch anything, though every thicket and branch reached for him, brushing his arms, his neck. Maybe it sensed he belonged here since he, too, was growing a forest inside himself. He ducked under a branch heavy with apples rotting to their cores and found Thomas's desk. Vines grew through everything, his easel, his seats, his boxes of charcoals and pens. Andrew ripped handfuls of leaves off the easel, green staining his hands. His tux would be wrecked, but he didn't care. He only had eyes for this. No monster sprawled in wicked ink across the canvas. No things with teeth and claws and blacked out eyes. Thomas had drawn in pastels, something he rarely did. The pencil so light on the page that it looked like it was fading away. It was almost finished. The three of them, Thomas, Andrew, Dove, their faces pressed close together, cheek to cheek. Thomas in the middle with his freckles and frown and sour mouth parted so that roses could grow between his lips. A crown of feathers slid over one of Dove's eyes, and her face was turned toward the sky with such aching sorrow it bled off the page. Andrew was the only one half unfinished, the hardest so the hardest for last. His hair curled in soft honey waves, dandelions woven between the strands, but his mouth was missing, as if Thomas had been waiting to learn the shape of it first. It hurt to look at them like this, at their grief and rage and joy, but they were all together, weren't they? In this papered reality, nothing had driven them apart. Andrew was not himself as he took hold of the paper and tore it down the middle. He was something else entirely as he ripped Dove's face in half, then Thomas's, then his. He knew doing this meant he'd slid a knife between Thomas's ribs and twisted. Thomas could hate him, but at least they'd still be alive tomorrow morning. This had to be the last of his work. No more drawings, no more monsters. He rummaged around the desk until he found a box cutter, which didn't seem enough of a weapon against monsters, but it was all he came up with. He turned to go, stumbling on the ground, rutted with tree roots and damp leaves of gold and russet and crimson. Find the door. Get out of here. His foot slid on a damp patch, and he struck out his arm in a desperate attempt to catch himself. He thought he grabbed a low branch, mossy in the dark, but his fingers tightened over smooth, slick skin. He was still looking down on the damp patch on the leaves, a pool of rainfall in a room where rain couldn't reach, except it looked metallic and thick, except it looked like blood. That's when he made himself stare at the ankle he gripped with shaking fingers. It dangled at his eye level. No shoe, just a bare foot with mud between the toes, porcelain white, and so cold. He would always be in this moment, his fingers on dead skin, his neck tilted back so he could look up and up and up, while inside him a scream began that would never stop. A boy hung from the trees. Vines noosed around his neck and thrust down his throat. Leaves curled out of his ears, still growing, his clothes torn where rose thorns had caught against flesh. All the better to find blood on which to feed. Touch me again, and I'll kick you. Aren't you pleased? This is exactly what you asked for. Bryce Kane stared down at Andrew while a forest grew from his hollowed out eyes. Okay, I'm gonna take a water break. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bryce Kane is dead. Okay. Oh my god. This is actually crazy. 30. Nothing mattered but this. Find Thomas. Before the forest did. Andrew shoved through a wall of shoulders, tuxes, and dresses and costumes, glittering laughter and cruel cut eyes. Everyone wore masks and wigs and gold-dusted horns, and their smiles were blood-red slashes against the strobing lights. Monsters danced hand in hand with Wickwood students, all of them fusing together into one shapeless, melting terror, while Andrew was the only one who could see them for what they were, the forest dressed up in human skin. It had come for its prince. Bast shook the floor as he stumbled through the Wickwood auditorium. The rows of velvet chairs had been removed and stored, and the stage was decorated with pumpkins and scarecrows, the ceiling ribboned with thousands of streamers and orange balloons. Every beat of the music pounded inside his skull until he had no room to think. Sweat ran in rivulets down his forehead, and he couldn't stop shaking, couldn't steady the floor under his feet, couldn't see as the world undulated and warped before him. He, too, was in costume after all. He pretended to be a slender boy with a serious mouth and eyes always searching for Thomas. But strip that away, and here was the truth. He was a wretched thing, a rotten thing, a skeleton with his insides already devoured by the forest. It was too late to save him. Dancers churned in the middle of the floor, colorful lights pulsing until their faces blurred like water smeared over a painting. Teachers moved through the crowd, scanning for dangers and yet seeing none of them. The clawing needed to warn them that monsters filled the dance floor choked Andrew. But he knew how he looked. Fevered and sweaty, wild-eyed and insane. In both fists, he gripped torn-up drawings of friends who were never meant to last. He had to tell someone about Bryce, but it would be as good as a confession. He'd all but told the forest to do that. It was his fault. It's his rotted, corrupted, monstrous fault. He tripped on the train of a long, lacy dress and stammered an apology as the wearer turned to yell at him. Then he backed up straight into a broad chest. Here's the little shit. Andrew tried to duck out of the way, but one of Bryce's Kane's vultures grabbed his arm and yanked him sideways with such abrupt violence that he nearly lost his footing. His startled cry was lost under the music, the laughter, the pounding feet, and swirling dresses. If you're looking for your girlfriend, he's busy. The boy stood taller than Andrew, muscled and swift. His usual smirk replaced with twisted disdain as he grabbed Andrew's chin and forced him to look toward the refreshment tables at the back of the auditorium. Because the school was so rural, and the kids rarely had a chance to let off steam, Wickwood allowed extravagance for their annual dances. Catering had piled the tables high with hors d'oeuvres, everything from salmon canapes to cheese platters and pastries. Hollowed out pumpkins sat next to chocolate fountains, and the punch bowl billowed with dry eyes. Thomas stood near the end of the tables with a plastic cup dangling nonchalantly from his fingers. He looked beautiful and bored, hair perfectly disheveled and white shirt tied against his biceps. Andrew hadn't noticed that before. Swinging an axe to carve apart monsters had made him stronger. Beside him stood Lana, which peeled apart Andrew's lie about who he was with. But did it matter anymore? He had to tell Thomas about the art room. He had to. He should. He couldn't think. His vision blurred and his throat felt wrapped with thorns. From his from this distance he could barely hear them. But Lana gesticulated wildly with her hands, her floppy witch's hat half obscuring her dramatic stage makeup. She wore a stiff black tulle skirt with bright black and purple leggings, and her arms were sheathed in fishnet gloves. Bracelets of tiny plastic skulls hung around her wrists to complete the look. Thomas frowned at whatever she was saying and then shook his head dismissively. Andrew thought he heard Lana say, "Calling for Dove. You need to make sure he knows." Thomas stared at her. "Knows? The hell? He freaking knows, Lana." Bryce's vulture moved his grip to the back of Andrew's neck and started paddling him toward the exit. Andrew slipped, trying to stay upright. The need to shout for Thomas tangled in the thorns growing up his throat. "Let's have a little chat. Specifically about where Bryce is." He shoved Andrew harder. "He told us about your little threat. Was taking it straight to a teacher and then suddenly his vanished? What did you do, dipshit?" More of Bryce's friends cruised over, all bright eyes and shark teeth in their immaculate suits and perfectly styled hair. The boy holding Andrew let go suddenly and shoved him at one of the others, and they mused knuckles through his hair before shoving him sideways to the next one. Panic seized Andrew with such violent velocity he couldn't breathe. They were everywhere, at once, shoving him, digging fingers into his skin, spinning him around, cracking knuckles against the back of his skull. He couldn't keep his balance, but every time he nearly fell, someone hauled him upright and shoved him again. He was not okay. "Did you tell your psycho boyfriend to do something to Bryce?" One of them snarled. "Get him outside, behind the school." A hand gripped the back of Andrew's shirt and half lifted him toward the door. And all he could think was how pathetic it was that he could stand against monsters in the forest, but here, under swirling bright lights and pulsing music and laughter, he had been reduced to a tremulous, terrified slip of a thing in desperate need for rescue. He was suffocating. He was drowning. Apparently, they all just looked like boys messing around, because not a single teacher walked over, not a single head turned. No one cared, no one noticed, except one. Hell yeah! Thomas slammed his shoulder into one of Bryce's vultures so hard he stumbled. He broke into their knotted circle with eyes blazing and teeth already bared in a snarl. But when he reached out for Andrew, someone blocked him with their arm. "Stand back, creep, unless you're here to confess to murder." "Yours? Keep touching Peralta and we'll find out." Thomas rammed the next boy with his elbow. He'd start a fight like this, an all-out brawl. Andrew couldn't let. He had to stop. His skin was fevered oil slick, and they all held matches. "Where's Bryce?" One of his friends took a menacing step forward. "What the hell did you two psychos do?" Someone grabbed the torn-up drawings from Andrew's sweaty hands. "Look, Rye is still obsessing over Dove, after everything he did to her." He flung the pieces at Thomas. Stop! Andrew thought of the box cutter blade in his pocket. Thomas slowly bent to pick up the shredded paper as it fluttered to the floor, and his face went blank. His eyes caught Andrew's, and for a second they stared at each other as grief hollowed out Thomas's face. He had become nothing, just an empty box of desolation as his mouth formed the words. That was all that was left of us. His last drawing, his last piece of dove. A vulture shoved Thomas back, hard. People heard you fight with Dove. You should have been expelled and got your ass sued to hell and back. She told you not to touch her brother, and you went and did just that. Time slurred, tilting to the left as Andrew began to slip. He would fall off the edge of the world, and he would never stop falling. His mouth throbbed as if he'd just been hit, blood wetting his lips as if he'd torn open his own tongue. Or maybe that was the fungi digging into the cracks between each tooth. So Dove had sabotaged him. A small part of him had known it. Really? Had known she was angry at the way Thomas and he had grown close. But if she told Thomas he couldn't have Andrew and Thomas had obeyed for so long, wouldn't be surprised if he hurt her. The vulture spat right at Thomas's face. For the last time, Thomas yelled. I wasn't in the forest with her. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. People were looking now. Teachers taking note. The music seemed to tilt up a notch to cover the disturbance, but it would only take a moment more before everything broke. A teacher intervening or Thomas hitting someone. Andrew had spent all this time wholly believing Thomas. But what if he was just ignoring the evidence? This boy had something monstrous living right under his skin. Something that leaked out of his drawings and ink and that turned into flesh and bone. Dove had cut him out, had refused to forgive him when usually she would. Why was he siding with Thomas when he should be loyal to his sister? Maybe she didn't want Andrew with Thomas because Thomas was... Sometimes there was no stopping pain. There was just seeing how much you could swallow before it spilled out to your throat. Andrew tore free of the vulture who still had claws in his collar. If you want Bryce, he's in the art room. The forest ate his eyes. I need to talk to Dove. I'll go get her. The boys all froze, expressions ringing from confusion to horror, but no one looked as stricken as Thomas in that moment. Andrew, he stopped, his face naked and wretched and aching. But Andrew had already turned away and run for the doors, for the night, for the forest fatigued, terrible beckoning. Okay, I'm gonna take a water break. Wow. I might have to go get another water bottle. I'll get it after 31. Okay. 31. There wasn't enough of Andrew to hold onto, so it was easy for him to slip away into the dark. The night air smoothed his feverish skin, and when he wiped at his mouth, his palm came away smeared with thick, bloody dirt. He wasn't crying, but it probably looked like he was. He stumbled along the outside of the school, his hand trailing across the ivy-covered bricks. while golden light poured from arched windows as if promising only warmth and safety resided in there. He knew the truth. The monsters were everywhere now, and all chance at escape had been lost. Dove! His voice rose against the velvet dark. I need you, Dove! He wrapped his arms around his aching stomach and tried to ignore the way the forest writhed inside him. Get it out. That if he could do, that he could do, if he just took the box cutter from his pocket. His breath, his next breath caught in a sob. Maybe he was crying. He reached up to wipe his cheeks, but two cold hands pushed his way and brushed at his hot tears. Oh, Andrew. He looked up into Dove's concerned face. Dove, his voice cracked. Everything is really, really screwed up right now, and I, I need you. Dove went still, and for a harrowed second he thought she'd walk away, tired of him and his riotous emotions that always spilled out in disarray when he should be put together. Should be put together, cool and clever and confident like her. He was sick of being the broken sibling, the incapable one, the slip of north wind more likely to fade away than deserve anyone's affections. Dove settled down on the path beside him and wrapped her arms around her legs. Of course, she'd skipped the needless frivolity of the dance, remaining in her neat, pressed liquid uniform with her hair in a tight ponytail and a pencil still tucked behind her ear. Only Dove would choose studying over literally anything else. She had the future planned out. Ivy League's, colleges, internships, and the stars all within her grasp. Did Dad call you? Andrew scrubbed at his face again, embarrassed at his running nose and reddened eyes. They're expelling me, but you can stay here. You don't have to leave because I'm a pathetic waste of space. He couldn't help but add in a wounded mutter. You prefer studying to being around me anyway. I need to study, Dove said. I need something to hold on to. But why? Andrew, leave it. She sounded firm then, and if he pushed, he knew she'd stand up and leave him. Maybe they're right, that you need a. Oh, my bad. Wrong voice. Maybe they're right, that you need a mental health break. You know you're dangerously thin, right? Not to mention, well, you seem like you're in your own world. He let out a shuddering breath. I need to show you something. In the forest. Dove shot him an incredulous look. Absolutely not. Did you forget the whole reason you're in trouble is because of sneaking into the forest? Plus, it's pitch black out there. It's totally not safe. Let's go to the nurse and tell her you're not feeling well. She pushed on to her feet and offered a hand. Come on, I'll take you. Is that why you're sick of me? His jaw set, and he didn't take her hand. Because you're done with having to babysit me and patch me up and fight my battles? Dove sighed, equal parts exasperated and fond. Would you please get up? Slowly, his body throbbing with the effort, he climbed to his feet without help. I'm going down there, with or without you. You're not. He forced himself down the garden path that wound toward the sports field while Dove spluttered in disbelief behind him. If she'd stormed off, then whatever. Thomas was Thomas had been right about the strength of Halloween, and it seemed unlikely the forest would stop after devouring one student. It still hungered. He slipped a little on the mossy, dew-slick pavement, and then startled as Dove appeared beside him. She folded her arms and glared, but she followed. "I know you won't believe me," Andrew said, "but try, okay? Please? There are monsters in the woods. They crawl out of Thomas's drawings, and every night we fight them. And every night we nearly die for it. They want a sacrifice from the prince. Andrew," she sounded careful, "let me take you to the nurse. I promise I'll stay with you." His fingers clenched into fists. "I'm not crazy. I'll prove the monsters exist. Just come." Dove said nothing, but he knew she thought he was having a mental breakdown. Logical, factual Dove who thrived on color-coded spreadsheets and itemized to-do lists would only see would only ever see her delicate, dreamy brother as the unstable one. Well, she'd find out the truth soon enough. He needed her to see. He was so tired of suffering because he moved through the world differently from everyone else. This wasn't only about goddamn monsters. It was about how he never seemed able to cope, how the world didn't fit against his skin, how he felt too much and too hurt too often and couldn't pack his emotions into neat, palpable boxes. He needed help. He needed someone to hold on to. He needed to be believed. It didn't matter if what hurt him was an invisible weight inside his head or something that left real bruises against his skin. His pain was real. Moonlight lit a silver path across the sports field as they walked toward the fence, looming tall and ominous against the dark. Dove kept a step behind him, her fingers fluttering at his sleeve in a half-hearted attempt to slow him down, but he moved with dogged determination. He saw the problem first. The fence had been ripped open, the hole wide and jagged, with bloody matted bits of feathers and fur caught against the serrated chain links. "See? The monsters busted through here. They got into the school." He whirled on Dove, but her mouth stayed a thin line. "They murdered Bryce Kane. You know Senior's party in the woods, right? Obviously cutting the fence is an entirely new brand of stupid, and people are totally going to get expelled for this." Dove picked up a gore-slick feather. "The sad part is, some animal's been hurt because of it." He snatched the feather off her. "This is from a monster. You're literally holding the evidence, and you still don't believe me. Can you even hear yourself, Andrew?" Dove waved helplessly at the forest. "It's a bird feather, because birds exist. Maybe there are wolves out there. I don't know. Do they have wolves in Virginia?" Frustration turned hot in his chest, and he plunged through the hole in the fence. She followed, taking her time so as not to tear her uniform. He stormed deeper into the trees, not caring how dark it was or how far Dove lagged behind him, her footing unsure against the roots and tangled undergrowth. She broke into a jog, calling for him to wait, and he felt vindicated that she seemed spooked. "5 minutes," she said, as if her compromise was a gift. "Then we go back, okay? Together." She said it like a threat, and it felt so patronizing he wanted to scream. The forest licked at his wicked lips, watching them. Still and silent, nothing moved in the underbrush, nothing breathed out with lungs of vines and brambles. The thick smell of loam and leaves stuffed up his throat. But no monsters lurked in the shadows, with viscided intestines unspooling from their perforated skin or poison drooling from their sharpened teeth. No one touched the trees. It had never been so perfectly Still. Dove touched his shoulder and he flinched. Thomas is probably down here, he said. He would have gotten the hatchet and then come to find me. Andrew. But he cupped his hands around his mouth and called, low at first, because he knew this would invite an attack, and he'd forgotten until now that he was unarmed. But then no response came. His voice rose. Nothing moved in the forest, no monsters, but no Thomas either. Maybe he was still in the dorms, snatching the hatchet from under the bed and swapping his too short dress pants for jeans that could take the gore and mud of battle. But something felt wrong. Andrew kicked through the leaves until he found a rutted path. He turned in a slow circle, but only trees stretched out as far as the eye could see. The air shivered, both tremulous and expectant, as if it hit a boy or a monster, and it didn't want to show either. Thomas isn't coming. Andrew stiffened, a sick dread fisted in his gut. He struggled to keep his voice neutral. How would you even know that? In the dark, Dove's face had been lost. Only the shadowy outline of a nose, a jaw, the curve of an eye socket pooled with black. Maybe I was wrong staying away from you this semester, but I thought you needed space to adjust. Dread thickened in his mouth. What are you talking about? Dove took a tentative step forward. Sometimes you choose your own reality, Andrew. You've always been like this, and I'm not angry at you. I understand. It's like when we were little. You'd tell these sprawling, fantastical stories, but they never ended. Even when I got tired of playing, you wouldn't. You'd lie on the carpet for hours just playing alone, in your head. Her voice had gotten thin and rusted, and she fought to steady herself. Thomas made you interested in this world. And I get it. I'm grateful to him, but... His ribs began to buckle inward, roots twisting and snapping as her words took him apart like scissor blades. What are you? So I had a big imagination as a kid? What's that got to do with any of this? He started to shake. I'm not hallucinating monsters. Dove's fingers brushed his hand, and his scars seemed to light up like they'd been brushed with acid. No. She'd never sounded so gentle. I think you're hallucinating Thomas. He snatched his hand away like she'd cut him. When school went back this year, Dove said slowly, Thomas was arrested for murdering his parents. Andrew stared at her. Oh, ain't no way. He didn't come back to Wickwood after that. It's horrible. It's hard to accept. So I guess you didn't accept it. In your head, he's still here. She wiped her eyes quickly. I didn't think you were struggling this much, or I would have told Dad about it. You're lying. The words hardly left his lips. I know things are tough for you. You're lying. He whirled on her, and there was so much pain and fury and hysteria spilling from him that it felt like it would burst from his chest and tear open a hole in the world. He's been in class with me, and he fights monsters with me, and Lana. Ask Lana. He argues with Lana all the time. The pity in Dove's eyes landed like a lash against his cheek. Lana doesn't talk to you. She's never been your friend. She started talking to me this year. He trailed off. What about Chloe? She rooms with you and Lana. She's my friend. I don't know who that is. And, Andrew, you don't have friends. Andrew wanted to rip out 1,000 trees and hurl them into the stars. You're messing with me. And stop it. Just stop. He jerked back when she reached for him. Don't you dare touch me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have told you here. Please let me take you back up to the school, and we'll calm you down and call Dad and... This is not all in my head. Andrew, it's real. It's all real, and you're lying. Stop yelling at me! Dove grabbed him by the shoulders, getting in his face before he could twist away. God, Andrew! I'm trying to help you. You need help. Across the forest, a low wail rose, and then he suddenly splintered into a blood-curdling scream. I'm so hungry. I love you too. All right, I have to keep reading though. Then there was the thudding whack of a hatchet. The scream cut off. Andrew's pulse leaped. Relief exploded in his veins, and he grinned at her. Wild and unsteady and completely terrifying, but he couldn't stop. Did you hear that? Did you? Monsters. Thomas is killing them. Dove cupped his face with cold fingers, and she looked close to tears as she searched his eyes. I want you to know, whatever happens, I love you, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to get you help. It sounded like a goodbye. It sounded like giving up on him. You don't hear it? He whispered. Tears slipped down her cheeks as she shook her head. It's going to be okay. But it wasn't. He was falling. He was tipping toward nowhere with nothing to hold on to. Inside his chest, the forest grew vicious and alive and hungry, and it filled him right up to the top of his throat. He could feel the way this was the end, how he soon would not be able to hold it in. He turned away and started to walk, slow at first, ignoring Dove as she called helplessly after him. Then, without even thinking, he started to move faster, nothing in his head but rose petals unfurling and the soft lisp of rustling leaves. Then he was flat out running. The forest swept past him, black and endless, and he tore along the path so fast he felt like he was flying. Dove tried to come after him, but she couldn't keep up on the uneven ground. He knew this forest intimately, wholly. He would not fall. His lips parted, and he was screaming. One that mattered. Thomas! 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 Andrew. Around Andrew, monsters peeled their teeth from the trees and trained their yellow eyes on him. Bones rattled and the underbrush turned over in a snarl. Their rot, their malevolence washed over his face, and he sucked it in with a sob. Ahead of him, a shape formed among the trees and began to move toward him. Thank you. Oh God, where was I? Moved toward him. It came up quick and lithe, and he was moving too fast to stop even if he wanted to. But he didn't want to stop. He was a boy close to the end of infinity, and he wouldn't run off the edge of the world if that was what it took. Oh, and he would run off the edge of the world if that's what it took. He was anguish and speed, his fingers outstretched for the only thing left in the world that made sense. They collided like trees fallen in a storm, arms flung around each other and heads cracking together from the force of their entwining. He flung his arms around Thomas's neck and crushed him, breathlessly close, breathing him in. All forest and charcoal pencils, his body hard and lean and impossible to break. Thomas tossed his hatchet to the side so it thumped dully on the leaves. Then his mouth pressed hard to the side of Andrew's sweaty hair, then against his jaw, so close to his mouth it felt like dying. He palmed the tears from Andrew's cheeks and then simply held him like nothing else mattered. I need you to be real. Andrew could barely pull the words bound in thorns and wicker stitches. He wanted to bite Thomas's jaw just to feel that hot, sweaty skin, already flecked with blood and damp dirt. What? Thomas said. Of course I'm real. I figured you ran down here, and I came as fast as I could, but Bryce's... It's not your fault. Thomas slipped from Andrew's arms and scooped up his hatchet. He spun with a graceful agility that made Andrew's heart skip a beat, and then slammed the blade into a monster scuttling across the leaves. It shrieked, and blood splattered the front of Thomas's white dress shirt in a hot streak of red. One of his suspenders had slipped, but he didn't seem to notice as he flipped the hatchet with deft ease and cut down another monster. Then he turned back to Andrew, blood flecking his cheekbones, his eyes smoldering coals. He reached out a hand to see if Andrew was okay, just as he always did. But Andrew stepped back. He grabbed at his hair, his head shaking, a low moan escaping from his raw throat. I don't know. I don't know if you're real. Thomas took Andrew's wrist and turned it over, placing his thumb on the frenetic pulse. Hey, he said so softly. What do you need me to do? Is this all in my head? Andrew went on, barely coherent. Did I make this all up? The monsters? The stories? I'm real, Andrew. Do you see the blood on my shirt? How can... Kiss me, then. It burst out of him, frantic and feral. Kiss me. Thomas took Andrew's face in his hands, thumbs tracing his lips as he tilted his head down. Their lips almost touched, Andrew's swollen and crusted with blood, Thomas's warm and soft as his story. Then he whispered, I am real. You are real. Make me believe you, Andrew said, and Thomas kissed him, hard and fierce and merciless, all teeth and tongue, as he took everything from Andrew and devoured him whole. Andrew's teeth sank into Thomas's lip until the old scab burst open again, and then it was impossible to do anything but breathe as one. They were a catastrophe exploding. Thomas pulled back and grabbed Andrew's face, rough and hard. He pressed their foreheads together. Do you feel this? I am here, and I am here, and I am here. He couldn't make this up, could he? The extraordinary wonder of pain and blood in Thomas. Dove said it was all in my head. Andrew could barely get the words out. He shook so hard. She said, I make stuff up and you were gone, but you can't leave me. I can't be without you. He choked on a sob. He felt like an autumn leaf, disintegrating to the touch. When she catches up, you have to make her see the monster so that... Wait. Thomas pulled away slightly, his hand still cupped around Andrew's cheeks. When she catches up? She was right behind me, Andrew twisted, looking at the empty track. I just don't understand why she lied. I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Andrew. Thomas' voice came sharper this time. Look at me. He drew in a shuddering breath, trying to center himself as he leaned into the one person who would always hold him up. But almost too late, he registered a growing panic in Thomas's face. A worry not stoked by monsters, or the night, or all the rules they were breaking. He kissed the corner of Andrew's mouth so tenderly it could make him cry. You need to listen to me, he said, low and urgent. You were not talking to Dove. I was. That that thing you were talking to. It wasn't her. She's my sister. I know her. Andrew. Thomas' voice cracked. It can't be her. You know that. His eyes looked like 1,000 shattered mirrors as he pressed his thumb to Andrew's mouth. All he could taste was blackberry briars and dirt and forest rot. That thing was not Dove, because Dove is dead. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. What the fuck? Okay, I need to go get a new water bottle, because what the fuck? Wait, no. Ain't no way. I'll be right back. I need to get more water. That's not okay. Ain't no way. I will not believe Dove is dead. I cannot. There's a lot going on in the book right now. Oh my god, guys. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hello, Daniel. Sorry, I am going a little feral because there's a lot going on in this story right now. Okay. 5 months earlier, Andrew had bitten his pen until ink had bled across the corner of his mouth. Thomas kept looking at Andrew's lips, and this had to be why. What other reason was there? They lay on the grass in the Wickwood Rose Gardens, books strewn around them in a fruitless display of studying. Sun warmed their hands in a dangerously comfortable way. It would be so easy to fall asleep. Oh, heads. In a dangerously comfortable way. It would be so easy to fall asleep. Cheeks cushioned on arms, the echoes of a busy afternoon at Wickwood humming around them. From the sports field, whistles blew as the soccer team did drills. And students chattered along the garden paths as they wound in and out of the library. Exams would be over soon. Then summer would be here, glorious and long and free. Come home with us for the holidays. Andrew lay on his stomach on the grass, notebook open and half a story fallen from. Thomas sat cross-legged, in his brow furrowed in furious concentration as he drew a crown of hollyhock and blueberry vines onto a wicked fairy king. Sure, let me whip out a couple of $1,000 for a plane ticket. My dad would pay. Andrew bit his pen again. It's not like your parents would miss you, right? They won't even remember to pick me up. Thomas sounded unconcerned, but his shoulders had tightened. Maybe I'll just nest in the forest like a goblin child and eat summer berries and go entirely feral. He was halfway there already, his frowns always a little too sharp and chaos spilling out of his pockets all through classes. He'd stood atop the garden shed when they stargazed last night and howled to the moon while stardust brushed his cheeks. What are you writing? Thomas tossed aside his drawings and leaned in, but Andrew covered his page with an elbow. It's not done yet, he said. I want an exclusive preview. When it's done, Andrew slapped the notebook shut and stuffed it beneath him. He had yet to decide if he was embarrassed about this one. In it, 2 dryads kissed and tangled their wooden arms together as a woodcutter split them apart for firewood. It was beautiful and anguished, and he'd written them both as boys. It felt thrilling but strange to write. He'd never looked at a boy and wanted him, except one. A wicked gleam caught in Thomas' eyes. I challenged the bastard prince to a duel with birchwood swords for the right of constant access to his stories. Andrew gave him a skeptical look. You're the prince, not me. I'd be the poet or something. Fine, the prince demands it from his loyal poet. Disobey and feel a bone blade at your throat. Andrew stared Andrew started to argue against this poor storytelling, but Thomas pounced. He flung himself onto Andrew's back and hooked arms under his shoulders to send them both rolling across the grass. They knocked into their textbooks and pages fluttered everywhere. Andrew drove his elbow into Thomas's stomach and got a solid oof in reward. But then he was laughing too hard to do anything but lose. He ended up on his back, Thomas straddling him. Then he dug fingers into Thomas's ribs to tickle. Thomas pinned his wrists to the grass. They were both breathing hard. Thomas stared down at him with eyes bright as the forest after rain. He was so real right then, so alive. The world smelled violently of roses. Now what? Andrew tried to look unimpressed. You'll have to let go of me to reach my notebook, and I know exactly how ticklish you are. I'll murder you. Thomas leaned forward, his whole weight pressing Andrew thin as paper, but he'd forgotten he'd wanted to struggle. Can I ask you something? The mischief had gone from Thomas's eyes, and he sounded unsure. Denied, Andrew said easily. Get off before I headbutt you, and there ends your perfect nose. Oh, I said that so bad. I can say that better. Get off before I headbutt you, and there ends your perfect nose. You think my nose is perfect? Well, it's straight, Andrew said. Thomas's mouth quirked a little. At least one part of me is. Andrew frowned and started to contest this, because Thomas also had straight teeth, but someone cleared their throat with dramatic annoyance, and he peered over Thomas's shoulder to see Dove. Thomas flung himself off Andrew and somehow put 1,000 miles between them in the space of a heartbeat. He had his sketchbook in his lap, grass in his hair. His eyes looked electrified, as if he'd been caught breaking all the rules. Despite a long day of classes and rigorous English exams, Dove looked pressed and composed, as if she'd meant to give a presentation or head to a formal dinner. Not a wisp of hair out of place, not a smudge on her uniform. She folded her arms as she surveyed them with narrowed eyes. We were studying, Andrew said. I've got your flashcards, somewhere. There are 27, Dove said. You have to memorize 27 before tomorrow, Andrew. Why do you two need supervision to get anything done? You could study with us? Thomas said. Dove gave him a cool look. Pretty sure I'm not studying the same things you are, Thomas Rye. He shot her a frown, but Dove ignored him and smoothed out the pages of one of the textbooks she'd messed up while wrestling. One of the textbooks they'd messed up while wrestling. She collected the scattered flashcards and smacked them over Andrew's head, which he grumbled about without any heat, without her organizing his exam prep. He'd have flunked out of Wickwood long ago. What he wanted, though, was to lie among the roses and sleep away the warm afternoon. Maybe with Thomas's head on his chest. I want to talk, Dove said. It sounded like talk with a capital T, and Andrew immediately folded into avoidance mode. At home, if their father tried to have a discussion, Andrew would bury his face under pillows in the sofa or block his ears and sit in the linen closet until everyone gave up and left him alone. It was childish, sure, but he had panic attacks that felt like willow switches against his bare back. They all knew this. They knew he couldn't cope. He could only handle life if he looked at it carefully from the corner of his eye. It was easier this way. Thomas scrambled to his feet. Let's go to the forest, to the wildwood tree. Then you can talk. Are we getting too old to climb trees? Dove said. Never. Thomas snatched up his sketchbook. It's out of bounds. But Dove sighed and flung her hands in the air as if she didn't have time to fight Thomas today. About rules. Fine. I guess we can sneak past the soccer field while everyone's distracted by practice. But we have to be quick, alright? I have a study session with Lana. Andrew hadn't moved, and they didn't notice yet. When Thomas and Dove were together, this happened every time. Private conversations with their eyes, their bodies both magnetizing and yet repelled. Their words thorny and sweet as their bickering turned to jokes and back again. With such swift speed, Andrew always felt left behind. He watched how close they stood, how Dove's finger brushed the back of Thomas's hand as he argued about if one could grow out of loving a tree. I don't want to. Andrew collected his homework as he stood. His skin felt itchy from the grass, his chest tight. Please? Dove had, Dove had on her sweetest wheedling voice. We need to talk, all three of us, about us. I'm too tired. Not a lie. His cottony weariness of earlier had turned to a sludgy sort of ache against his bones. Too many late nights studying, too much holding his breath during exams. Annoyance edged onto Dove's face. I'm literally begging here. But Andrew's jaw had gone tight and he turned away. You two can go. I need all three of us, Dove started. And I don't want to go with... Oh, and I don't want to go with you. He said it too sharp, and Dove wilted. She liked to corral them, her boys, her two best friends, and usually he was relieved to follow dutifully in her wake, to feel safe knowing she made all the decisions and he wouldn't have to. But right now he was too scared of what she might ask. Maybe she would ask for Thomas, and maybe Thomas would say yes. He was a hurricane and she the whole sky. And even now, they were having a vehement conversation with their eyes as Andrew walked away. Neither went after him. As he vanished behind the hedges, he heard Thomas say, You have to give him warning. You know he hates confrontation. He could do something for me once. For once? Dove sounded tired. Come on, let's just go. Andrew felt sick, his stomach full of stones, as he trailed to the dorms alone, wincing at the two boys who bumped shoulders with him on purpose so he'd slam against the wall. This had been his whole year. Everything from snide remarks and casual shoves to his books being wrecked and disembodied hands shaking the shower stall while he was in there, shivering and terrified. Always it was Bryce Kane behind it. Andrew wanted to tell someone, but Dove would report them, and the bullying would for sure get worse because rich kids didn't get more than a slap on the wrist at Wickwood. And Thomas would, well, he would start a war and beat someone into the ground for Andrew's honor. And then he'd get expelled. So Andrew kept his mouth shut. At least his dorm room remained a luxurious, quiet sanctuary. The sun flung golden afternoon rays over Thomas's bed, and Andrew couldn't resist. He could steal an hour. Thomas and Dove would be at least that long, and he could study the flashcards after dining hall to win back Dove's favor. No one would catch him caving to this indulgence, dumping his books on his messy desk, towing off his shoes, unbuttoning his shirt, so that when he slipped into Thomas's bed, his skin lay against where Thomas had been. It was an easy way to sate the craving of something he could never ask for. Laundry and extra blankets had been tumbled on Thomas's bed, and the cottony warmth dragged Andrew down into sleep. His muscles uncoiled, his stomach ache eased. He pulled pillows over his head so his world muffled, and all that was left was the smell of soft laundry and traces of paint, and the warm, earthy taste of Thomas. Somewhere, through the dregs of unconsciousness, he heard the dorm door open and then close. He wasn't awake enough to care. A cool hand touched his cheek. He pulled from sleep hard, sucking in air like he'd been underwater. I felt like his heart had stopped, like he'd been lost, like he'd had a fist on a branch and then SNAP. But he was still buried under Thomas's musty blankets, sweaty and muddled from waking so abruptly. Someone had flickered on the lights, and the glare burned his eyes. He sat up, blinking hard. Miss Poppy hovered over him, bangles clinking lightly as she placed a cool palm on his forehead. Sorry, he sounded slurred. He felt undead, not awake, like he'd slept under a 1,000-year enchantment instead of just the afternoon. The clock on Thomas's desk read 8:39 p.m. Damn it, he'd missed dining hall and tutor sessions. Sending a teacher to find him meant incoming detentions. Darling, you're a little feverish. Miss Poppy made a soft, distressed sound. We had someone come look in here, but they must not have seen you under all these blankets. I need you to come with me. Sleep had left Andrew so foggy he couldn't find words. He fumbled for a t-shirt. One of Thomas's, maybe. Paint flecked the hem. I'm sorry, he mumbled again. You're not in trouble. But the way she looked at him was infinitely sad. He followed her downstairs, feeling too wrecked to stay upright. Something felt off. The dorm seemed subdued. The usual boisterous games in the rec room dulled, and everyone stared at them as they hurried past. Outside, the summer night felt sticky and loud. Cicadas singing from the forest, and tires gravel crunching in the parking lot. Wasn't it late for visitors? The hedges ended, and he saw it then. Cop cars and an ambulance, their blue lights still flashing. Panic flooded his lungs, vicious and wild. Miss Poppy hurried him into the school, murmuring something that was meant to be reassuring, though he couldn't hear her past the roar in his head. He was missing something. On the stairs up to the faculty floor, they had to step aside as one of the junior counselors walked down with arms around Lana Lang's shoulders. She had tissues pressed to puffy eyes, her breathing barely controlled. When she saw Andrew, she turned her whole body away and started crying harder. He hadn't spoken to her often. She was slightly terrifying, but he knew Dove adored her. Her presence always turned Thomas snappy and jealous, a juvenile reaction that Dove shut down because she had no patience for his inability to share. Andrew understood him, though. Thomas was so used to no one liking him, no one caring, that when they did, he was always terrified of the day they'd stop. Miss Poppy took Andrew's hand and squeezed it. In the principal's office, they sat him down. Two cops spoke to the principal, and senior teachers came in and out. The room felt too small and stuffy for this many people. Andrew thought he'd be sick. He had no idea what he'd done wrong. He couldn't stop thinking about the ambulance outside, the way he hadn't seen Thomas. Agony wrapped fingers around his throat and pressed down hard enough to snap cartilage. The principal perched in the other leather armchair beside him instead of behind her desk, an intimacy that made the situation even more disconcerting. Andrew, I have some difficult news. But first, I want to assure you that your father is on his way. We would have him on the phone for you, except he decided to get on a plane immediately. Andrew picked at the paint crusted on the hem of his shirt, Thomas's shirt. There has been an incident, an accident. He wondered what Thomas had been painting since he usually gravitated toward ink and charcoal for his masters. Your sister went into the forest. From what we can determine, she was climbing an old oak, and a branch broke. She, well, she struck her head on a rock when she fell. He said nothing. He thought if he were in one of Thomas's drawings, they could scrub charcoal over the top of his worried eyes and sad mouth and blot him right out of the world. She passed away. I'm so sorry, Andrew. Andrew looked steadily at his fingers twisting his shirt. No, Thomas wouldn't let that. Thomas Rye would have saved her. The principal's voice sounded higher than usual, and she had to pause and clear her throat. Lena Lang confirmed that she saw the two of them down by the tree line. She had some sort of argument, and then Dove went into the forest alone. They had some sort of argument, and then Dove went into the forest alone. The principal went on speaking. Andrew wished she'd stop. There had to be a finite number of words in the world, and she wasted them going on and on about how students were forbidden from the forest without teacher supervision. How misplaced loyalty meant Lana hadn't reported Dove missing until after dinner. Then police had been called, a search party sent into the forest. Thomas had been found, oblivious, in the art room. Andrew had been searched for, but they missed him the first time under all the blankets, and then Miss Poppy thought to check again and found him asleep. His twin had been severed from him, and he hadn't even been awake to feel it. They asked if he had questions. He didn't. People kept giving condolences. He peeled paint from his shirt. He said no, one more time, just softly. But nobody listened. They had already accepted the truth of this story they'd made up. This dark and treacherous fairy tale, worse than anything he'd ever written. Eventually someone said, he's in shock, and they dithered around about what to do with him before deciding to send him back to the dorms. Dr. Rule escorted him, making comforting comments about how bright and loved Dove was and how he understood Andrew didn't feel like talking right now. But when he did, there were people who would be there for him. All Andrew noticed as they passed the empty parking lot was how the ambulance had left. They took her away. They didn't even ask him if they could. Only the lights in the kitchenette had been left on, all students in bed and the counselor on duty, waiting up with herbal tea and a pitying expression. Thomas sat at the table staring at a cooling mug before him. When he looked up, his expression was so raw and terrible that Andrew glanced away. They'd flayed Thomas alive. It was so easy to see. If they took his shirt off right now, would he have skin left? Or just muscle and sinew? throbbing livid and red and bloody as he struggled for each breath. Andrew felt nothing as he stared at this boy with devastation bleeding from his eyes. They climbed the stairs to their room in silence and readied themselves for sleep by the light of a single bedside lamp. Andrew shrugged off the shirt he'd stolen from Thomas and opened his wardrobe door to find his pajamas. Seeing himself in the slim mirror screwed to the inside of his wardrobe door gave him a jarring sense of vertigo. This angular, pale boy with collarbones made of twigs and hip bones sharp against his pants. I felt like someone else. Thomas hovered behind him like a ghost. He took a step forward, his mouth trembling. Andrew, I'm sorry. I should have been with her. I should never have let her go alone. Yes, Andrew's voice was barely above a whisper. You should have been with her. Thomas shrank into himself. What had he expected? Forgiveness? Absolution? It's all your fault. Andrew said it in a way that drove a knife into Thomas's gut and twisted. He stared at the mirror, at the boy before him who looked like Dove. Her honey hair, her warm brown eyes, that stubborn tilt to their mouths when they were upset. Thomas wiped his eyes and dug fingers through his hair, trying to steady his shuddering breathing. I'm sorry. I'd do anything to go back in time and stop talking. Andrew didn't recognize his voice, cool and hard as river stones. Stay with her. She wouldn't have died alone. Shit. She wouldn't have died. I'd have caught her or carried her to get her help, and I said stop talking. Thomas choked on a sob. I'm sorry. Andrew hit the mirror. He hit it again and again, until glass shattered and blood smeared across his reflection. He no longer looked like Dove. Now he was a red-smeared thing in fractured pieces. He hit it again. Thomas was crying out for him to stop, pleading with a voice gone high and cracked and terrified. He would stop when he'd obliterated every last piece of glass into stardust that he could coat his tongue with and whisper a magic wish to the forest. Give her back. Arms wrapped around his waist, trying to pull him away. He wrenched free and smashed his hand into the mirror again. He felt nothing. His fingers looked like broken twigs dyed crimson and dusted with slivers of glass as he kept punching the mirror again and again, and the dorm door burst open. People were yelling. Light blazed the room and searched his eyes with such brutality that he screamed. Stronger hands took him by the shoulders and dragged him away. Voices piled over each other, arguing, questioning. Doors squeaked open across the hall as sleepy faces peered out to see what was happening. Andrew thrashed against the grip, a strange, unkempt violence spilling out of him as he snarled between clenched teeth. This wasn't him. He was never like this. He didn't know how he ended up on the floor in Thomas's arms, rocking slowly. They sat in a sea of mirror shards while Andrew cradled his mangled hand to his chest. Thomas's cheek pressed to his bare spine, his tears tracking down Andrew's skin. I'm sorry, Thomas whispered. I said. Andrew placed each word like a rusted blade against Thomas's tremulous throat. Stop talking. Thomas didn't speak again. He held Andrew and cried to make up for the fact Andrew hadn't cried at all. Everything inside Andrew had been scooped out, and he'd been left a hollow thing, impossible to fill. Dove would absolutely freak out when she saw what he'd done to his hand. He'd explained it to her over breakfast, how it had been a tough, stressful year, and he'd spaced out for a minute. He thought there was a monster in the mirror and he only meant to kill it. Oh, damn. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take a water break and then I'll continue because we're super close to that ending, but also my battery is getting low. Oh, shit. I'm at 19%. I better hurry. Okay. 32. Andrew's mind was a little fuse. Andrew's mind was a lit fuse. Catastrophic detonation imminent, and everything inside his skull pounded and strained as if it wanted out, out, out. His legs couldn't hold him, and he sank to the leaves with hands curling over his ears. A kneeing wail slipped between his bloody lips, and he felt thorns curl deeper, harder, into the soft meat behind his eyes. He needed to think, but he couldn't. Someone was lying to him. Yellow eyes flickered around them. The gnarled shadows of monsters tucking themselves between trees and roots as they wet their lips and waited for the right moment to attack. Thomas swallowed hard, his gaze darting from the lurking monsters in the thickening dark to Andrew folded in on himself. I don't understand how you don't. Thomas stopped, choking on a dry sob. Lena told me that she didn't think you knew. Like somehow you'd blocked it or something. But I don't understand. You have to know. You have to. I tried not to bring Dove up since you didn't. And I didn't want to hurt you. He put his fist to his lips, pressing so hard his teeth cut into his knuckles. I feel so fucking guilty. I should have been with her, and I'm scared you still blame me. Andrew dug his hands into the leaves until his fingernails hit something hard and sharp. Not rocks, teeth. I already told you. Every word shook as Thomas fought against tears. I think someday you'll hate me. He was gorged on guilt. He festered with it. Andrew could see it, unspooling round his eyes and running like brackish tears down his cheeks. He could hear the way the monsters salivated for it, their claws tearing through tree bark, teeth clacking against bone, in anticipation for their next taste of suffering. They wanted him to take a fistful of agony and stuff it in his mouth again and again until he was so full of decaying leaves and moss and the wet, rotting skin of trees he would belong to the ground. But none of this was Thomas's fault, was it? Thomas wiped a dirty hand across his eyes. She would never have gone into the forest if not for me. She hated breaking the rules. And I drove her to it. We fought. You know we fought. But it was about you. Andrew looked up, his mouth stained with blood. What? I was going to ask you out. Thomas sounded wretched. I was just working up the nerve, and she somehow knew. I guess she saw how I looked at you, even though you didn't notice. She didn't want us to change. Us three. It had to be us three, she said. But I never would have cut her out. I just wanted to kiss you. His voice had gone so high and hoarse it kept cracking. I still just want to kiss you all the time. We started arguing before we even got to the forest because she said I forbid it. And I flipped out and said you didn't belong to her. They'd fought over him. Andrew almost didn't believe it. He thought Dove was sick of him, of watching out for him and mopping him up and keeping his tremulous ribs together when he was always seconds from bursting apart. I stormed off and she went into the forest alone. I don't know why. She was so mad. I guess she just wanted to stomp around and get her feelings out. And then Thomas trailed off miserably. Then she fell. And I wasn't there to catch her. I didn't even feel it. I should have felt it or been there or run to her. I loved her like she was my family. But I love you, like you're my whole world. Stop. Andrew started Andrew stared at the soil filtering between his fingers, at the scars, the spiderwebs, and lace across his skeletal hand. You're lying. She's not. He couldn't say it because it couldn't be true. He had seen her. He had. But how shitty would I be? Thomas said raw. To kiss you after she was gone. This is why Lana hates me so much. She thinks I saw doves. She thinks I saw it as an opportunity to get with you. But I didn't. I'd rather die than be like that. I just don't want to be alone anymore. I'm so scared of being alone. He dropped to his knees, energy slugged from Andrew's skin, and his forehead slumped against Thomas's shoulder. But he cupped Andrew's face and forced him to look up. Listen to me. A fevered terror lit Thomas' eyes. I don't think the monsters are going to let us go easily this time. Or at all. You have to get out of here. But I can't, said Andrew, his voice so dull and far away. It sounded smothered, 6 feet underground. They want the prince, and that's me, not you. It was never you. And it was the way Thomas didn't correct him that said he knew. That he had known perhaps for a long time. Andrew, who hadn't fallen asleep when the dream ravager came. Andrew, who told a wicked fairy tale about a wolf that ate Thomas's parents. Andrew, who had never stopped writing, even though Thomas had stopped drawing. Here was a boy who made monsters, or perhaps was a monster himself, all because he couldn't face the fact, the guilt, the sorrow, the rage of his sister being dead. The world slid sickeningly left, and pain shot behind his eyes in a white-hot spear of excruciating agony. He couldn't bear it. He was going to tear outside his own skin. Monsters stepped out from behind the trees with masks of blackberry briars and vicious teeth curled over their jaws, limbs fused with riotous teeth and claws extended, perforated intestines and foul, viscid liquids, and endless decay slithered out of their concave bodies. Then Andrew noticed the writhing tangle of vines pulling themselves from the soil, thorns hooked and tipped with blood, bodies throbbing like snakes. He tried to scramble back, but a green vine looped around his ankle. In a flash, it tightened like a tourniquet. Thomas! It burst from him like a plea, a prayer. Thomas snatched up the hatchet and swung hard, chopping the vine in half while maggots and festering black beetles burst from the severed flesh. But, oh god, I'm at 50 now. It's okay. But already another had grabbed his ankle, sneaked a tendril around his wrist, crawled toward his waist, with leaves blossoming with a green so lurid it stood out like a scream in the dark. Their eyes met, and the grief was so visceral, so brutal, that a wail tore from Andrew's throat. He clambered to his feet, unsteady and drunk on his devastation, kicking back the vines as more surged from the soil, with thorns looking to hook into flesh. They smelled blood. They wanted more. Stop! He practically screamed it. It's not him! It's me! You want me! Andrew, shut the fuck up! Thomas sounded frantic as he tried to slice the vines tightening around his body. The hatchet slipped and sliced across his thigh, but he didn't seem to care. I won't let them have you. I'm the teeth, Andrew said, and his mouth was full of ink. Thomas screamed at the same moment. The forest dug fingers into Andrew's face and pulled. Something slick and livid exploded from Andrew's eye, growing thick and fast down his cheek in a rain of warm earth. He clawed at his face as roots tore through soft tissue and skin. He was screaming. He couldn't stop. Pain bloomed, vicious and bloody and red. With trembling fingertips, He touched his eyelid just as thorny roses unfurled petals, dripping with the viscid jelly of his perforated eye. They grew, blossomed. He couldn't see. Someone was screaming his name. He couldn't see. It shouldn't be a surprise that the forest had outgrown the confines of his thin, frail body and longed to stretch. He used to be an empty boy, impossible to fill. Now he was so full of monsters. 33. Oh my goodness. So close. Okay, water break and we continue because I'm so low on battery. Like, let me see. Oh, sheesh. Okay, 33. Every good story ends with a wishbone snapped, a bloodied kiss, the prince's sacrifice. Cut out a heart and bury it in the woods. But he already knew that. The hardest part was not what he had to do. It was walking away from Thomas as vines twisted around his wrist and tore open the buttons of his once white shirt to find the hole the monsters had made. Andrew had made. That was impossible to fill. The hardest part was listening to the way Thomas screamed, terror unraveling him right to the core. As he watched the forest eat through Andrew. But he had no choice but to go. Someone had to finish telling the story. Night slid an inky tongue across the forest as he walked, like it meant to swallow him whole. The weight of it pressed against his chest, drowned his lungs, smothered any pathetic whimpers escaping from his bloodied throat. He stumbled on gnarls of roots and thorny underbrush, but even as it bit at him, he felt nothing behind him. Thomas stopped screaming. Don't think, don't think. He didn't let himself cry. He wasn't even sure he could with the rose thorns sinking into the tender skin below his eye. He climbed over a fallen tree throbbing with fungi, turned bioluminescent under the streaks of silver moonlight. It crumbled under his palm and clung to his skin with moist, decaying flesh. The whole night made sense in a brittle, circular way. He took in a lungful of air and felt it slide wet and tar slick down his throat, a strange sort of calm folding over him. He wondered if anyone would notice they'd gone into the woods and never came out, if anyone would care. After this, everything strange and uncanny about the school would stop. A shadow shivered behind a tree, and the world seemed to crystallize around him. Breath held, air turned cold enough that his breath was a white globe before him. He stopped and tucked his hands in his pockets. Come out, he said. Silence stretched for one beat, then two. Then Dove stepped from behind the roses. She still wore her summer Wickwood uniform, the last thing he'd seen her in, though her face had begun to change now, as if the need to look like neat, fastidious Dove had passed. Moss grew across her cheek. Soft green tendrils pulsed from the corner of her mouth, and her brown eyes had been replaced with the vivid, unforgiving green of the forest. Take off my sister's face. The voice did not waver. His voice did not waver. She wanted to protect you, the forest said softly. She wanted everything to stay the same, Andrew said, and it couldn't. It didn't. We let our love for each other cut us to the bloody core. You didn't bring a pen. It took everything in him not to stand there, not to cry. I'm not telling that kind of story this time. Now take off her face. The monster slipped backward into the trees, the dark taking hold of his sister's edges and unraveling them. Andrew watched as this monster grew, as its flesh turned to bark and its fingers to scraggly sticks, as it grew tall and then taller until its huge form blotted out the moon. Its jaws stretched open to show teeth. wicked and long, and when it pulled its feet from the ground, the earth tore its roots as its roots exploded free. Gripped in its mangled stick fingers was a notebook with spores of mold flourishing over the battered cover. Andrew wiped the blood off his mouth and took his notebook of wicked fairy tales from the monster. He nodded once in thanks. They walked into the forest, the monster huge and terrible behind him, shadows and malignant rot slick on its branches. He climbed fallen logs and then let moss smear between his fingers and stain the knees of his pants. He took off his suit jacket and let it fall behind him, then his shirt, streaked with dirt and leafy prints from the forest. He left it tangled in a thorny thicket. From his pocket, he pulled out the box cutter. As expected, the place where the wicked tree used to be was empty. It had yanked its roots free and gone walking, and packed its body down to look like a girl with honey blonde hair and a name of softened feathers. A distant part of him wondered how much of Dove's blood it had drunk as she died, quiet and alone under its canopy. He nestled the notebook in the leaves at his feet. Then he traced fingers along the grooves between his naked ribs, across scars from monster bites and claws, until his palm pressed flat to his stomach where vines grew beneath his skin. He cut, deep enough to hit wood. He wet his fingers with his own blood, feeling nothing but how warm and coppery it was. He began to write, fingertips against skin, bloody letters smeared and slurred because he couldn't stop shaking. The wildwood monster fitted its root feet back into the hollow, and then it stretched for the midnight sky speckled with the chipped-off edges of diamonds. The way it looked at him wasn't cruel or vindictive, rather gentle, as if it realized he had run as far as he could and his tiredness was to be expected. Its voice had turned deep and melodic and ancient. You woke us, now sate us. A teeth was never going to be enough. Andrew began to write. Once the prince took a knife to his chest and carved himself open, showing ribs like mossy tree roots, his heart a bruised and wretched thing beneath. No one would want a heart like this, but he'd still cut it out and give it away. He thought. Far away, he heard someone cry out his name. The cold took hold of his naked shoulder blades and sent goosebumps rippling down his spine. He gave his heart to the October boy with 1,001 freckles and hair of autumn leaves. But almost at once the heart began to corrode, and the prince turned into a monster. They should bury it, the prince decided, and see what it would grow into. Andrew painted words on his arms, his chest, his throat. A slow, dizzy molasses began to pour across his mind, and it was so very hard to keep his eyes open. In the distance, someone was running, air tearing through lungs, a scream almost reaching him. They decided to bury the heart deep in the woods, for monsters were ravenous things, not to be trusted. This way, the October boy would be safe. Blood dripping from Andrew's arm and splattered on the notebook. Or maybe those were tears finding their way around the roses filling up his eye. Within the ground, the heart grew into a tree, and the monster lived among the branches and forgot he had ever been a prince. But the October boy didn't flee. He climbed the tree and kissed the lonesome monster until it devoured him whole. Andrew scooped damp soil and decaying leaves in until he made a shallow hole, deep enough for the journal to fit. There was just enough room left to fit a throbbing heart. He let out his breath, slow and careful, and stayed on his knees as he put the tip of the box cutter to his chest. Oh my god. His mouth trembled. The forest watched him, silent, and the monsters stayed back in respect, though the hunger in their eyes was still terrible. To cut out his heart was actually such a small thing. Everything stops, he whispered, after this. Something slammed into him. Andrew hit the leaves with a thud. All the air punched from his lungs. His fingers curled tight and protective around the box cutter so it wouldn't fly from his hands. But someone grabbed his wrist and pinned it to the ground. He tried to wrench it away, to fight fierce and victorious, but he had so little strength left. Andrew, wait! He smashed his head into Thomas's face and sent him careening backward, hands over his nose as he choked back a cry. Andrew dragged himself to his feet, the box cutter burning in his hands as if it was a dragon tooth blade forged for princesses who wore briar crowns. He stood over Thomas, his ribs moving raggedly, watching the October boy writhe on the ground with a hand cupping his bloody nose. Bro broke his perfect nose. The world had begun to lighten with a graying dawn he wasn't ready for. He was running out of time. The wildwood tree stretched its branches toward the sky, patience thinning. Cut out a heart and bury it in the woods. Andrew didn't realize he'd said it out loud until Thomas looked up at him with swollen, glossy eyes and said, "Does it have to be your heart?" He looked ruined, his clothes torn and blood seeping from dozens of cuts on his arms from where the thorny vines had pinned him down. He must have freed himself with the hatchet. Then he would have run so fast to get here in time because he too remembered the story Andrew wrote last summer and slipped into his back pocket. Andrew pressed the palm of his hand against his good eye, squeezing until the world refocused. Dusty lights shimmered like fairy dust around him and turned the edges of the forest sepia and soft. It seemed impossible they'd been scared of this forest for so long. Thomas pushed himself to his knees and then stayed there. A supplicant before his prince. He could unmake Andrew if he wanted. He could destroy him with the tender shape of his mouth, but he waited. "I know it wants a heart," Thomas said raw, "but it doesn't have to be yours." Andrew's fingers brushed across Thomas's beautiful cheekbones, the curve of his perfect jaw, then through the thick, sticky blood spilling from his nose down his lips. Then he wrapped his fingers around Thomas's throat. This was how they were, bones broken and mended crookedly, each entwined with the other. He thought maybe you could love someone so much you ruined them, and then you ruined yourself. "If you cut open my chest," Andrew's voice was wrecked, "you'll find a garden of rot where my heart should be." Thomas tilted his head up, and the way he looked at Andrew was so tender and fierce, so full of fearless worship. "I don't care how dark the world is for you. I'll hold out my hand until you find it, and I won't let go." Ribbons of blood traced Andrew's wrists and threaded around the box cutter. If he ignored what the forest demanded, this would never end. The monsters would keep attacking, more people would die. They hungered for guilt and grief, and for the two boys who fed them relentlessly. So, oh god, I'm at 5%. God damn it. 1 second, guys. 1 second. God damn it. I gotta run. I don't want this to shut down before y'all finish. I gotta run. Okay, 1 second. I gotta finish this story. Okay. It's charging. Okay, guys. Okay. I'm sorry if y'all heard that. I will finish this story for y'all tonight. So, here we go. I'll continue this. Ready, set, and oh god, let me at least tilt it like this so y'all can at least see my face. I think it's paused or whatever. Um, are y'all still watching me? I think it crashed. Whatever. Anyways, uh, where was I? Okay. I'm gonna continue now. Ribbons of blood traced Andrew's wrists and threaded around the box cutter. If he ignored what the forest demanded, this would never end. The monsters would keep attacking. More people would die. They hungered for guilt and grief and for the two boys who fed them relentlessly. So, in truth, this moment made sense. But just know this, Thomas said as he fought back tears. Dove's death was an accident, and to she never would have hunted you in revenge. This is all you're doing, and you could tell a different story if you wanted to. You're strong enough. You're brave enough. Agnew slowly peeled Thomas's filthy shirt back, just enough to show the trembling skin over his heart. Pressed fingertips against his warm flesh, felt the throbbing, bloody beat, hot and fierce and alive. They didn't need two hearts. They could share Andrew's even if it was a bruised and sorrowful thing. Their rib bones would entwine together in a lattice to protect them from the worst of the world, and they would always be together. They would never be apart. He began to cut. Chapter 34. I hope y'all can hear me. Okay. Chapter 34. Dawn dyed the forest in colors of the softest russet and gold. The air felt crisp on the tip of his tongue. Wood smoke and pines and the musk of freshly turned earth. Blood stained the leaves and glistened in small pools. A red so deep and dark that if one dipped fingers into it, they'd touch another world. He'd covered the hole with soil, packed it down hard with his palms before brushing leaves on top. The box cutter had been buried as well, resting gently on the notebook that held all his most decadent and lovely and cruel and macabre stories. That notebook was his everything, his most precious possession, his heart made paper. Before him, the wildwood tree looked like an old white oak again, with branches stretched in a wide, leafy arch, thick whorls and knots in the bark at the perfect height for handholds if one dared to climb. One branch was broken. The forest had never been so still, so peaceful. It had fallen asleep, worn to the weary bone. He sat very still among the roots of the oak, his skin still covered in cuts and bloody letters from a story now too smudged to read. Rose petals flicked from his left eye, and the thorny vines had gone brittle now, that there was so much less blood to drink. His bare skin had turned to cold alabaster, his long, delicate fingers absently tracing the branches grown from his split open stomach. It will stop hurting soon, he said to the quiet between the trees. They didn't answer. They were just trees again. All that was left of the monsters were broken wishbones and carved out teeth scattered among the roots. They devoured each other in this forest. These boys, so ravenous and defiant and tearful, they'd not known how to stop. The way Andrew loved Thomas was terrible and eternal, but he couldn't remember if he'd ever said that out loud. Remember you love me. His words felt so small and sleepy against the forest dawn. All my stories are about you. They will always be about you. He ran his fingers through Thomas's curls, his movements slow and careful, so he didn't disturb the careful. way he'd arranged Thomas's head in his lap. They were both so tired. They needed this moment just to rest. He carefully slipped his hand into Thomas's and laced their fingers so they fit. Scarred knuckles against freckled ones, both stained with forest dirt and blood. He kissed the back of Thomas's hand, tender and aching. They were beautiful together. They were magic and monstrous. And they had created a whole vengeful world between them. Andrew lowered his head, so his mouth was close to Thomas's ear. Wake up. I need you to tell me if we are real. Thomas didn't open his eyes, but his face had gone soft. All that fierce anger and lonesome fear slipped away. Kiss me, he said, low and sleepy. Then you'll find out. Ah! Okay, guys. Okay. All right. I will. I'm done charging it for now. Oh shit. Oh well. Bye, guys. It was nice. It was nice streaming for y'all. Y'all stay hydrated. Have a great day or night, and please don't forget to leave a like, share, comment.